Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today is Sunday, November 10th, 2024, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App $ ORIONNWSF or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We got Sunday Night Football, the Detroit Lions versus the Houston Texans. Kickoff is going to be here in roughly 10 minutes. So let's cue up the music, take a look at the thumb, and let's get settled in for the broadcast here on NBC and Peacock. Let's get it, baby. And on the thumb on the left, we have wide receiver stud, a top 5 receiver in the NFL, Amon-Ra St. Brown. And on the right, the franchise for the Houston Texans, C.J. Stroud. Let's go, baby. This should be a good matchup here tonight. 6-3 Texans. They're 4-0 at home versus the 7-1 Detroit Lions, 4-0 on the road. The Lions are the best team in the NFC. Obviously, we know what's going down on the AFC side with the Chiefs barely beating the Denver Broncos. They stay undefeated. Will we get a Lions-Chiefs Super Bowl? Possibly. Let's get it, baby. Daniel in the building, what's good? Megan in the building, what's good? Michael in the building, what's good? Fly, Eagles, fly. Sarah in the building, what's good? Let's get it, baby. Yeah, a lot of unexpected outcomes, not only on Saturday for college football, but I think on Sunday too. There was a lot of players that played much worse than expected. And there was a lot of games that ended not really the way that I think that we thought would end. Let's go over some of the scores of the games. But again, week to week, you don't really know what's going to happen. Sometimes, the player will play a weak defense and they'll ball out. Other times they'll play a team that, may not be really that good of a team record-wise, but they bring their A-plus performance that week, and they make a decent quarterback, look pretty poor or below average. Panthers ended up winning in Munich, 20-17 over the Giants. Bryce Young getting another win. Good for him. We know the Panthers obviously have been struggling, but at this point, it looks like the Giants are even a worse team than them. So good for Carolina to get that third win of the season. Obviously, the Giants are going to be dropping down to 2-8, and I would assume that they'll be firing a lot of people in that building. Chiefs 16, Broncos 14. It seems like the Chiefs, no matter what happens, whether they got the refs in the back pocket or not, they find ways to win unconventionally, and they end up blocking a field goal at the very end of the game against the Broncos to win. Let's be honest. How often does that happen in the NFL? Like maybe once a season? And it happened, obviously, this week. Tough loss for the Denver Broncos, even though Bo Nix played decent, and the Chiefs stay undefeated. And again, they're the best team in the NFL, right? They got the best record. We know the Detroit Lions are the best in the NFC. There is a good chance that we might be able to see those two teams match up. And if the Lions match up to the Kansas City Chiefs, they will have a chance, to win it all. But we have to kind of wait and see because, again, as long as the Chiefs have Andy Reid, they have Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Spags, no matter what, you never can count them out. And even if they don't look as strong as last year, they're barely winning games. But at the end of the day, a win is a win, whether you win by 1 or you win by 30. Steelers 28, Commanders 27. Nice job by Dangerous. Russell Wilson is back. And again, for a lot of those people that thought Justin Fields was the better quarterback, after seeing Russell Wilson play in Pittsburgh, it is a good fit. He's able to get George Pickens and the other weapons the ball, and that is obviously equating into some wins for the Pittsburgh Steelers. 28-27 over the Commandos. Jaden Daniels, a rookie, kind of a Lamar Jackson 2.0, but just really didn't have that same type of Jaden Daniels kind of day that they needed to win at home. They drop one to the Steelers, 27. Vikings 12, Jaguars 7. I don't know what the hell is going on with Sam Darnold. You know, at the beginning of the year, he looked very, very good. In this game, he looked like one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL. And again, week in and week out, it's kind of hard to be able to judge, even against a bad defense. Sometimes a player that might be a top, 12, top 14 quarterback will end up looking like the worst quarterback in the NFL for that particular week. That's what we saw in Sam Darnold. They end up winning without even scoring a fucking touchdown, 12-7 Vikings, and they definitely have dropped down a little bit in the power rankings. You know, they're still a good team, but I feel there's quite a few teams in the NFC that I would pick over Minnesota. Saints 20, Falcons 17. A very, very bad loss for the Atlanta Falcons. A very, very big win for the New Orleans Saints. You know, for the Saints and the Bucks, our seasons are over. You know, Panthers are trying to catch up into the win total, but the Falcons should win the division by default because they're the healthiest. But bad clock management by Kirk Cousins and that offense late in the game. You got to be able to get those plays off against the Saints, and you can't have one or two plays in a matter of 14 to 30 seconds. You got to make sure that you have good clock management, and obviously the Falcons did not, and they end up losing to the Saints on the road 20-17. Niners 23, Buccaneers 20, and it really wasn't necessarily the Buccaneers losing. It was Christian McCaffrey is back in the NFL. So regardless if you got him in fantasy or you're a Niner fan or you just love Christian McCaffrey, great to be able to see him back on the field. But for everyone that ended up drafting him, we know that you're not in the playoffs, and it's been a very, very rough year. I've never seen anybody that has been the number one pick in fantasy not play till week 10 when the playoffs start in week 15. Not ideal for a lot of Christian McCaffrey fantasy owners, but he did play a good game today. Good to see him back. Bills 30, Colts 20. Joe Flacco has had a couple bad games, but again, you're not going to necessarily be able to go back and forth with AR and obviously with Joe Flacco. The problem is more than just AR, and it's more than just Joe Flacco. The offensive line needs to be better. The play calling needs to be better. The defense needs to be better, and I feel like not all those pieces are on the same page. So unfortunately for Colt fans, another L, and the Buffalo Bills strike again, 30-20. Patriots 19, Bears 3. Caleb Williams has shown flashes, this year in the NFL, but he has definitely taken a big step back within the last month. They've been taking a lot of sack lunches, and in the first part of the year, the Bears were right there with the Packers and the Lions, right? As well as the Minnesota Vikings. But as of late, he hasn't looked good. He's taken a couple steps back in his progression, and someone that's taken a couple steps forward is the other rookie quarterback for the Patriots, Drake May. They get the victory, 19-3 on the road. Chargers 27, Titans 17. Chargers, what can you say? Herbert is the man. Harbaugh is the man. They find a way to be able to use those particular pieces in the right time, in the right space. They are rolling. Chargers 27, Titans 17. Eagles 34, Cowboys 6. No Dak Prescott. It doesn't really matter. Even if they had Dak, they were going to lose this game. The Eagles are starting to fly high. 34-6. Fly, Eagles fly. Cardinals 31, Jets 6. Now, this one is a kind of a surprise, right? Because we know from time to time, Aaron Rodgers, Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, they traded for Devontae Adams. But the one thing that I noticed is that defense was much worse than it was last year and the year before. They weren't top 5. They weren't consistent. You get absolutely embarrassed on the road by Kyler Murray and James Conner, 31-6. And for all the Niner fans and the Hawk fans and the Rams fans that are obviously in the room, or the people that are going to end up being fans of those teams, that's the last thing that you want to see as a Seahawk fan, a Niner fan, or a Ram fan, is the Cardinals starting to get hot at the right time. That division is going to come down to the wire, and in all honesty, I don't think we know who's going to win the NFC West. It is dead even. Sometimes the teams play well. Sometimes the teams play like shit. No one has really been able to take that spot just yet, but the Cardinals at the moment are sitting at the top, 31-6 over the Jets. And then now we have the Lions and the Texans, 7-1 Lions, the best team in the NFC. Some people would say they think that they're even better than the Chiefs, even though they only have one loss. Obviously, the offense looks much, much better for the Lions than the Kansas City Chiefs, but the defense typically is going to be a little bit closer than people think if you look at the rankings. There's going to be certain statistics for the Chiefs that put them in the top 5. But to me, when you watch them, they feel more like a top 10, top 15 defense, not top 5. But they're playing good enough to win. Now, with the Lions, they used to have one of the worst defenses in the league. Now, they have a defense that's around the top 10, 8, 9, 10. So if the Lions can keep continuing to have that consistency, to have a top 10 defense and a top 5 offense, maybe this is the team that can actually beat the Kansas City Chiefs. And I know a lot of, underdog fans and a lot of fans that, appreciate good football. The Lions have been lovable losers for a long, long time. And how cool would that be, other than Chief fans like Odin Son and a few others like Chief will Chief, if the Lions were to be able to get to a point to end up winning a Super Bowl, whether it's this year, the next year, the following year. Obviously, if we could get Lions and Chiefs in the Super Bowl, I think that would probably be the most entertaining matchup that we can get, unless we have another surprise team that comes out of nowhere to beat the Chiefs. But as long as they got Andy Reid, as long as they got Spags, as long as they got Mahomes and Kelsey out there, right, and you got Kareem Hunt with Pacheco coming back pretty soon, they're the team to beat. There's going to be a lot of teams that might be able to play pretty good in the regular season, but when it comes to the playoffs, the Chiefs take it into another gear. And again, it may not be pretty. It may be ugly. They may be winning barely by 10 points or less every single game, but at the end of the day, a win is a win, and to block a field goal at the end to win is just a characteristic of the Kansas City Chiefs finding ways to win where other teams wouldn't have been able to make that play. The Kansas City Chiefs find a way to make plays that other teams can't, and they got a big win on the Denver Broncos today. Lions, Texans, we should have a good one here. We want to make sure we're watching the offensive line and the defensive line, the line of scrimmage in this game. Last time that we saw the Texans, offensive line looked absolutely terrible. So we will see if the Lions end up getting some sack lunches and pressures on C.J. Stroud. This one should be a good one. I assume the Lions will win. And again, hopefully the Texans can keep it close to make it interesting. And then obviously the last matchup will be tomorrow. We got the 2-6 Dolphins versus the 4-4 Rams. Tua, Waddle, Tyreek, Achane, Cooper Kupp, Nakua, Kyron Williams, Matthew Stafford. We'll see how it goes, but hopefully we have a good one here tonight. No Will Anderson Jr. out there as well, so a big hit. No Nico Collins for the Texans also, so we'll see where it goes, but hopefully there's enough Tank Dell, enough Joe Mixon, and hopefully enough offense to make it interesting. So let's go, baby. Daniel in the building, what's good? Michael in the building, what's good? Megan in the building, what's good? Sarah in the building, what's good? Odin in the building, what's good, brother? Britt in the building, what's good? How are you? Not exactly what we wanted. Congratulations to Joey Logano. You go into rare air. Winning one championship, you start to be able to make a name for yourself. Winning 2, you're cementing a legacy. When you win 3 championships, you're in rare air, and you start to go in with a lot of the other GOATs in NASCAR Cup history. And again, it was right there with him and Blaney. That team with Penske, the Fords have won it 3 years in a row. Very, very close battle. William Byron, he did his best. But again, the Fords were a little bit too strong, and a good year in NASCAR this year with the championship ending in Phoenix. Shout out to Joey Logano. Let's go, baby. Like, sub, donate, comment, share, and if you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Yeah, well, that happened to me also. I think we are linked, by the hip. Because again, when you end up having something bad happen, it happens to me too. But it might have been worse for me because I had to go against Burrow. I had to go against Jamar Chase. I had to go against Zay Flowers. And I also had to go against Chase Brown. So I was already down 100 points, even though I got 18 out of Andrews. So I already knew I lost. My playoff hopes are over. And as you look in our fantasy league, we got 5 good teams and we got 5 bad teams. And with the 5 bad teams, we are still good enough to be able to beat some of the top 5 good teams. But again, we just need to have our players hit. But unfortunately, sometimes, these players don't play up to the expectations. And again, when you end up going against, Burrow or Chase Brown, and you go, 3 Bengal players and they're already at almost 100 points, you're not going to come back from that. And, rough, and there's a reason why I am not going to be doing fantasy at least for a year. I'm going to take a year off from it and then see how I feel. And then if I end up getting the itch for it again, maybe I'll do it again. But not exactly what I expected this year, and I want to make sure my mental health is preserved. But shout out to all of the teams that got dubs this week. Obviously, the teams that won were not a surprise whatsoever, and we're going to have an exciting playoff push in the Fantasy League this year. Finley in the building. Congratulations on the Panthers win. Bryce getting back-to-back wins. I like seeing that. Beat those fucking Giants. Play action fake, bootleg, Goff, and into the turf, incomplete. And I now, Finley, when everything looked terrible at the beginning of the year with, maybe the Panthers being the worst team in football, based on how the Buccaneers are playing with, injuries, and based on, the Saints and the Falcons really not being that great. Hell, the Panthers might end up, if they can go on a little bit of a run, the Panthers might end up getting second place in the division before the season is up. So that's got to be something to make you a little, to crack a little smile. The NFC South is not good. Again, kind of dead even for the most part, kind of like the NFC West, but some team is going to climb at the top. We would assume it will be the Falcons, but at least the Panthers, for being a bottom team, you're going to slowly but surely catch up to the Buccaneers and Saints. And who knows, maybe your Panthers will end up getting second place when it's all said and done. 3rd down and 5 for Jared Goff and the Goffense. Lamar and Chase. Wow. Yeah, I was down 118-18 when they had Burrow, Jamar Chase, Chase Brown, the Bengals running back. So 3 Bengal players and Zay Flowers. And I was down 118-18. So I already knew that, my season's over. My this week is done. And again, sometimes if you end up being lucky enough to have a player like that, or you can be someone smart like Zini and double up or triple up, then you end up beating the hell out of me. 1st down and 10 for the Lions. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 20 within the first hour, 30 to 50 overall, and we're going to be shooting for 100 in the donos on every single stream. Tyree in the building, what's good? And hopefully we can get a little bit of support with the likes and the subs and the donos, as well as the Cash App. Obviously, Cash App has been a little bit light. Thank you so much. Odin Son with a 6er. I appreciate you very, very much. I know I got a bill coming up, I think, within the next 5 or 6 days. So hopefully between now and the next 4 or 5 days, hopefully we can get at least a decent amount on the Cash App to be able to pay the bill. But I appreciate you very, very much. A little screen pass to J-Mo. Hurdling out of bounds. Flag on the play. Appreciate you, Odin. Thank you so much. Every dollar counts. It's hard to be able to, get things situated when you only get paid once a month. Not many of y'all, get paid once a month. A lot of people get paid weekly or bi-weekly, but, it's tough, man. And it's not like I'm blowing my money on dumb things. It's like paying bills, taking care of Paisley. So anyone that can support in any kind of way, every dollar counts. It would really go a long ways. Appreciate you very, very much. Thank you, Odin, getting us started off on a good note. $6 holler, 94 to go. Appreciate you. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks. Little Cactus Jack, bang, bang. We're at 6, 94 to go. Let's get it, baby. Thank you so much. Yeah, I watched a little bit of it. Little screen, tipped, intercepted on Jared Goff. And that's how you get in the game with the all Reds by the Houston Texans. Wow. A little bad luck for Jared Goff and the Goffense, and you're in the right place at the right time if you're the Houston Texans. And I really do like the helmet and the jersey and the pants. It's a little much for the color as far as the red. It's kind of a pinkish red color. It's a little out there, but it kind of reminds me of like a rose or a flower. And sometimes when you have these obnoxious uniforms top to bottom, and it might be a little much for some, I kind of like it, because it's not like it's their regular uniform. It's not like they're going to wear it every single week. But if they're going to wear something like this, once a year or twice a season, or maybe go with the white pants, obviously as an alternate from the red helmet and the red tops. When you have it all matching, helmet, jersey, pants, socks, cleats, looks kind of fire. All right, let's see if the Texans can take advantage off the interception. Yeah, Wirfs has got MCL sprain. My season's over, dude. You know, my fantasy season's over. My NFL season's over. Everything is over. I mean, really, the only thing I have to look forward to is the Oregon Ducks being the #1 team and possibly getting the Natty. But other than that, a disappointment for the Mariners. Kraken have been about 500, so I wouldn't call them a disappointment, but underachieving maybe a little, at this point. But again, they're still very, very young. Blazers, a very, very young team. I don't expect them to win very many games. They're not going to the playoffs. So really, I can hang my head on the Oregon Ducks and just enjoy the NFL season. But as far as my teams are concerned, I usually only have one that's good out of my 5, and that stays true this year in 2024 as well. Halfback toss to Joe Mixon, bouncing it to the outside. Good tackle by the Lions. And we don't have Zadarius Smith out there, even though we got him from the trade for the Lions from the Browns, but he is inactive here tonight. Yeah, I mean, we're for the Buccaneers, we're gonna fight like hell, But again, Baker can only do so much, with the offensive line that we have working. No Godwin, no Evans. Defense has not played good. They had spurts where they actually played like a top 10 defense, but overall, the Bucs defense has not been the traditional Bucs defense that I'm used to. And it's rough, But again, I'm still rocking the jersey. I'm still rocking the beanie. And again, that's what you do. It's easy to wear the gear when your team wins. It's a little bit more difficult to wear your gear when your team loses, or if they lose in, not so much dramatic fashion. And it is what it is. First down, Texans. Move the chains. Yeah, so we'll see how long Wirfs is out, but I assume that, he'll be out for, I don't know if he'll be out for the whole year, but, we'll have to wait and see. But I would assume, sprained MCL is not something that you're going to be able to come back from, within like a week or two, most likely. So, handoff. Mixon. Short game. Let me know what you want to do for Chief Photos. You got someone in line, Odin, that you want to be able to see, or if you want to do something different, like the Who or wrestling photos or whatever you want. You let me know what you want, and I got you. Second down and 8 for the Texans. They're on the Detroit 18, mixing up the middle. Stroud under center. Man in motion. And Mixon going backwards. And you start going backwards, not going to be a good look. -8 yards. Pascal and company with the tackle. Joe Mixon, you got to put your head down and go forwards, my guy. Third down. All right, we need 2 more likes to be able to get to 10. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Now we're at 10. 10 more to go to get to 20. Let's get there, baby. Third down and long. CJ Stroud steps up in the pocket. Little floater to the sideline. Caught and got the first down. First down, Texans. Move the chains. Mechie. Move the chains. If we can keep a tally of the likes and the donos throughout the stream, that'll be good. That'll be able to help us get there hopefully quicker. Nice catch by Mechie. And again, you're not having Stephon Diggs out there, right? You don't got Nico Collins, even though they had him active, but he's not playing obviously here tonight. Probably is going to need another week or two. So they're going to be heavily going to Joe Mixon, in this game, you would assume. Sprinkle in a little Dalton Schultz and Tank Dell, Mechie and company. And now they are on the brink of getting a minimum of a field goal, but let's see if they can punch it in for a touchdown. Good to see you, Tyree. Second and goal on the Detroit 8. Cade Stover trying to get into the mix after a timeout here, trying to get the correct play call. All right, take care, brother. I'll get you some photos, either tomorrow or whenever you have a chance to stay in the stream a little bit longer, and I got you. We'll throw up at least a Mahomes up for Odin. No, he's got to go. But we'll get him some more photos either tomorrow or whenever he's got a little bit more time. But I appreciate you. And Patrick the Clone Mahomes, starting to gain a little bit more rhythm, getting DeAndre Hopkins as an additional weapon with Travis Kelce. So not as much pressure on Mahomes, not as much pressure on Kelce. And sometimes you got to win a little ugly, and you find a way. Joe Mixon, touchdown, Texans. And again, like I mentioned, they're going to go heavy Joe Mixon, and the guy scores a touchdown. It feels like every single game, like Kyron Williams for the most part on Reflex Fantasy Team. Nice job. Look at the block on the outside. That's too easy. Touchdown, Texans. Yeah, Mixon's a top 10 running back, and I kept telling Cole and a lot of the other Bengal fans, you're not going to be the same team without Joe Mixon. Some people wanted to argue. Some people want to have a little bit of pushback, but it's very clear. The Texans are much better with Joe Mixon, and the Bengals are much worse without him. Now, Chase Brown has done a pretty good job with him and Zach Moss overall, trying to, have both of those players give you what Joe Mixon, gives you by himself. But Joe has been a top 5, top 10 running back for many, many years. Very underrated, not really a high-profile name compared to some of the other running backs like Saquon Barkley. But I love me some Joe Mixon. Extra point is up and good. 7-0 Texans off the interception on Jared Goff and the Goffense. Nice job. There you go. Reflect in the building. What's good? Yeah, well, Chuba for a period of about a month and a week, he was like number 3, number 4 running back. Hell, there was a few weeks where it felt like he looked like maybe the best running back for that particular week. And it's all about being able, to get him the ball at the right time. So there you go. You got Joe, some extra points for you. And I feel like fantasy, as you're starting to see, we're getting down kind of to the wire, but you got 5 good teams, 5 bad teams. The good teams won, the bad teams lost. And again, the bad teams are still going to have a chance to upset the good teams from now to the end of the season. But again, you never really know what you're going to be getting, especially if you're streaming quarterbacks, streaming kickers, streaming defenses. I feel it's a lot harder to do this year than years past. And again, every single week, you don't really know what you're going to get. And unfortunately for me, I've been getting everyone's Super Bowl effort every single week. So I haven't really been able to gain any kind of rhythm. And, congratulations to all of the winners, obviously, in the league this week. Obviously, we got one more game tomorrow with the Dolphins and Rams. But I feel for the most part, the matchups have already pretty much been decided. And it's going to come down to, whoever gets hot and who has the best matchups as we go into the playoffs, whether that's Reflect or Zini or Shep. But that's obviously the top tier, and we'll see what happens, as we get a little bit closer to the playoff push. 7-0 Texans. Zay in the building. What's good? Yeah. Well, also, too, it's better to be humble, and again, if I feel like if you end up being a person that is like, talking shit a little bit too much, even if it's playful, I don't know. Sports karma always finds a way to be able to get you back, So I almost kind of feel it's just better to just be humble, do what you do, see what happens, because I just feel that anytime, someone ends up being a little bit, overzealous, a little bit aggressive, a little bit extra with the shit talking, most of the time it backfires. Now, once in a while, the shit talking will go into your favor and then you'll end up, winning, whether it's in a fantasy game, in a bet, on a parlay, a money line, or if you have a friendly bet with a family member or buddies, going back and forth, but it is what it is, and we'll see where it goes. But 7-0 H-Town. How's it going, Sang? We're at 6:94 to go. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Cheesehead in the building. What's good? Touchback. Let's see what the Detroit Lions can do here. David Montgomery, left guard to Detroit, 30, no gain. And we'll see if Sonic and Knuckles can end up getting into the end zone. You would assume so. Man in motion. And nowhere to go for David Montgomery. Yeah, I'm doing good. It's one of those things that I think you have to just come to terms, when you know things are not going well. My fantasy team, the Buccaneers, the Blazers, the Kraken half of the time. Really the only thing I can get excited about right now is Oregon Duck football being number one. And I guess that's a big thing to be excited about, but going long, going deep, got a man. Almost intercepted. What happened to my hands? But the excitement of being number one doesn't mean anything unless we end up winning the Natty. So we got to take care of Wisconsin on the road. Then we got the Huskies, obviously, for the last regular season game. Ohio State will play Indiana, beat the brakes off of them, I would assume. Ohio State and Oregon in the Big Ten Championship. Hopefully we can get a dub there. And if we lose, hopefully we can find a way to play Ohio State in the Natty and finish off a 2024 season that's been pretty magical for the college football playoff. But as far as the rest of my teams and fantasy, hasn't really been that great, but I'm going to keep a positive attitude. There's no reason on being a Debbie Downer or a negative Nelly. I'm going to be a positive Pete the rest of the way. And it's you just got to accept that some things are going to go your way and some things are not. There's always next year. Flag on the play. Delay a game on Jared Goff. 5-yard penalty. Third down. Yeah, for real. Hopefully we can get some good refs in the Big Ten, but I wouldn't count on it. And I honestly feel like the Big Ten is easy compared to the Pac-12. Not to disrespect the Big Ten and Ohio State and Michigan and Penn State and Wisconsin and Iowa and all of these other teams, but this is just my personal experience of being in the Pac-8, the Pac-10, the Pac-12, top to bottom. The Pac-12 was way more competitive than the Big Ten ever will be. And that's, just being honest, and again, I want to make sure it's a tough battle, but I think it was much tougher to be a top team in the Pac-12 than it is to be a top team in the Big Ten. Now, I have mad love and respect for Ohio State. I love watching their games. Michigan, when they have a good coach like Harbaugh, they're going to be in the mix. Penn State is always going to be like the third or fourth best team in the Big Ten, but it's all those middle to bottom teams in the Big Ten. They're not good. Give me Arizona, Arizona State, Utah, Washington State, Oregon State. Give me anybody. Then I feel like those teams are very undervalued and underrated. And I feel like winning a Pac-12 championship and being on top of the Pac-12 was much harder than the Big Ten. I mean, obviously we know that there's going to be that powerhouse team, like us in Ohio State that we're going to have to battle every single year. But other than Ohio State, who else? I feel like it's kind of easy, and again, it's easy for us now because we have Dan Lanning and we have the recruits and the proper players. If we lose Dan Lanning, then we're going to go into the middle, of probably the Big Ten. We're not going to be at the top. We probably wouldn't even be second or third. Maybe we would be fourth or fifth or sixth. But as long as you end up having one of the best coaches in the country, we're recruiting well, we end up having some decent depth, even though we have some injuries. I'm hoping that we can cap it off with the Natty. And if we don't end up winning it this year, I'm hoping if Dan Lanning stays for 10 years, hopefully we'll be able to be blessed to go, once or twice to the Natty. And even if we have to lose one more time, even though we've lost 2 Natties in the last 15 years, even if we have to lose one more time to eventually get that Natty win in the future, I'll take it. But I just feel like the competition level in the Big Ten, in the middle and the bottom, those teams are not good. You give me Arizona State, Washington State, give me a lot of those other teams that normally aren't talked about. Those teams would typically beat the brakes off of the teams in the Big Ten that are in the middle and the bottom. The only thing that, the Big Ten has for me, Ohio State, typically Michigan with their, aura and their presence, Penn State, and then you got a lot of other teams that are kind of in the middle of the pack. So again, if they want to have us, come over, so be it. And I'm hoping that Washington, USC, and UCLA can join the party, and then we can have all four teams in the upper half of the Big Ten one day, and hopefully it's sooner than later. But, I feel the Big Ten is easy, and it was much more difficult in the Pac-12 than the Big Ten. It's just that, Big Ten got more love. It got more pub by the media. Same thing with the SEC. It was always SEC, Big Ten, Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan. And if you weren't one of those four teams, everyone else is just bootios, unless you're like Clemson and you win a natty with Dabo, or maybe you're one of the other teams like LSU that ended up being better than Georgia and Bama because you had Joe Burrow, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Justin Jefferson, and Jamar Chase. But if you don't have an anomaly where like a once-in-a-million kind of team like that, it's pretty much those four teams, Georgia, Bama, Michigan, Ohio State. If you weren't one of those four teams, you had no chance of even being relevant. But now, with the addition of these four Pac-12 teams, people are starting to realize that maybe some of the teams in the Pac-12 were a little bit better that people wanted to give us credit for. And that is big facts. And I know that the Big Ten teams hate us. They hate seeing a new team dominate everyone that has that history there. But you guys were the ones that invited us for. The Pac-12 commissioners were greedy. They wanted more money. So if you have anyone to blame the Pac-12 commissioners for not getting the deal done. Because honestly, I would rather be in the Pac-12 representing that conference than being in the Big Ten. But it was out of our control. And if it's up to us to be able to dominate this new division, we're here for the challenge. Shotgun set, first down and 10. Throw to the outside. Nice catch. And it's not like I'm saying that the whole entire Big Ten is crappy. It's just look at the teams in the middle and the bottom, and you'll be able to understand what I'm saying. It's just not a whole lot there in the middle and the bottom in the Big Ten. Facts. Indiana, very good this year, and I'm happy for them. It's a good story in the Big Ten, right? Indiana and Oregon, normally, you don't really see this type of success, and obviously joining the Ohio State and the Penn State. So, and Ohio State and Penn State are usually always there, but normally for them, they're 1 and 2. Maybe not necessarily 2 and 3 or 4 or 5. Tank Dell. But again, it all depends if you watch football, as a whole, instead of just watching your team play or just your conference play. You got to be able to watch because I've seen these people on social media, saying that, overall college football, all the good players went to the NFL last year, and Oregon is just by default the number one team. No. Okay. It takes a lot to be a number one team in the country. Hell, it took a lot to beat Ohio State, by 1 point. So it shows you how hard the difficulty level really is. It's not easy to be number 1 or number 2 or number 3, number 4, number 5 at any given point. So I think it's kind of funny that the haters, they can't credit, somebody that, normally maybe isn't there that often. Again, we were number 1 about 10 years ago. We kind of go through these spurts when we end up having a good team, whether it ends up being with Chip Kelly or now Dan Lanning. But nice to be able to get a little bit of respect, a lot of fucking hate, and the job won't be done unless we end up winning it all. 7-0 Texans, and looks like they are threatening again. Second down and 9. Screen pass. Mixon. Uh-oh. Reflect, are you getting more points? My God. Joe Mixon is a god. First down, Texans. Well, Miami's defense isn't very good, Finley, but their offense is good with Cam Ward and Damian Martinez. So, they look like a top 10, top 15 team, but at some point, if your defense can't stop a nosebleed, you're going to get exposed, so it'll still be a fun team to see in the playoff, if Miami's in there, right? I mean, there's going to be different levels, to the competition, right? Yeah, me too. Same thing with Brett. So, holding. Come on, Texans. Yeah, and as far as like UW and USC, they may not have an exceptional record, but this is just me personally. If those two teams play any of the middle of the tier Big Ten teams, give me Washington and give me USC, because things may not be perfect for those two teams, but those two teams, if they're not playing Ohio State or Penn State, or Oregon, that they're going to end up giving everything that they got. And more times than not, if they're going to play an equal team in the Big Ten or somewhat equal, like an Iowa or Wisconsin or whatever, I think that USC and Washington could definitely, have a good chance to win those games. So it's just a matter of getting, better team, better, obviously, recruits, just building the program up. And obviously, we already know Washington lost a lot, including their coach and a lot of NFL players. Obviously, they don't have Caleb Williams there. Defense wasn't good last year. Got a little bit better this year, but still a work in progress for the Trojans. Miller Moss ended up getting benched, so they're going to end up going with their backup. So it's still going to be a work in progress for USC and Washington, but I'm hoping within the next 5 years that we're going to have Oregon, Washington, and USC as far as the top 6 teams in the Big Ten. That's what I'm hoping for, and I think that there will be a good chance for that to happen, to join Ohio State, Penn State, and have a couple other teams there. And we don't really know if Indiana is going to be good next year. They're having a magical run this year, but let's see what happens, obviously, after this year, if Indiana can repeat the success, or if some of those players end up graduating, going to the NFL, or if there ends up being a coaching change or something of that nature. 7-0 Texans, and they are threatening. Yeah, that game against Penn State was a little ugly yesterday. I watched it. Stroud, floater, and complete. Yeah, it was, I mean, you could kind of tell the way the flow of the game was going. And then plus going into that environment, I don't care who it is. I mean, anyone that has to go and play at Penn State, with all of the white pom-poms and when they have the white out, very, very, very intimidating. Not many teams would be able to win there. Even Oregon, Ohio State, any of the top tier teams could lose there easily. Stroud, scrambling, gambling, pumps the brakes, and gets sacked. It's 12 noon. You know what time it is? Time for a sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. Field goal is up and good. 10-0 Texans. But it's definitely a weird year in college football when you see like Alabama and Georgia, like in the top 15, not being like ranked 1 and 2. It's just kind of a different feel. College football playoff for the very first time. And again, a lot of different teams moving to new divisions, but again, it definitely feels like it's wide open this year. And I feel it will be wide open every year after this year, because it's not like Oregon is going to be the number 1 team every year. It would be nice if we could end up, being one of the, top 5 or 10 teams while Lanning is there. But, you never know what injuries could happen. And obviously, when you build a team in college football, there's not really a whole lot of loyalty, to the coaches or the players. At any given moment, a coach could leave or a player could end up transferring. So, you just got to be able to take advantage as much as you can in the time window at your good. So. Reflect with a 3-er. But it kind of shows that like the format of college football is changing. And instead of, Alabama and Georgia having like 50 NFL players and everyone else having 5 to 10, and there's no chance of you winning the Natty or even competing, now, with NIL deals and the money and the transferring and the coaches, now it's kind of an even playing field that even if you don't get the best quarterback from your state, it doesn't matter. You can end up getting someone that transfers from another school, whether that be from Maryland or Notre Dame or Illinois or whatever, so even if you don't recruit well in your own state, that doesn't matter. It used to really matter back in the day, but now it's more of an even playing field, and you're not going to have those teams like Georgia and Bama with like 50 NFL players and then everyone else with 5 or 10 or less, and then no one can really keep up. So I like that aspect of college football where it'll be up for grabs and a little bit more of an even playing field. And then on top of that, you get the college football playoff where you're going to have some surprises and some upsets. And who knows, Oregon could get upset in the college football playoff. I hope not, but it could happen. So we'll have to wait and see. $3 holla, stacks on stacks, racks on racks, a little Cactus Jack, bang, bang. Appreciate you. $3 holla. Let me know what you want to do for photos, if any, and I got you. We're at 91 to go. Yeah, well, they weren't really loyal to begin with, but now with NIL deals and the landscape of college football, there's no reason to be, I'm going to stay at Georgia or Bama for 4 or 5 years, even if I have to sit on the bench for the first 2 years, and you're an All-American. Fuck that. Now, these guys that are All-Americans now, why would you stay on the bench for Bama and Georgia for 2 years when they're not number 1 or number 2, when you can end up going to Ohio State and starting right away? Or you can end up going to Oregon, or you can end up going to another school, And there's no point. And unless for whatever reason, your family went there and you have this like emotional tie that you're willing to sacrifice playing time and stay until it's your turn. But for that special case, that will be for some college kids, because they want to play Bama, they want to play Georgia. But now, it feels like it definitely, there is no loyalty whatsoever for the kids or the coaches. 10-0 Texans. Elliot in the building, my boy. How are you? Much love. Big hugs. I love you, brother. Good to see you. You need anything, you let me know. Hopefully the dinner that I provided for you was good. Hopefully you ended up getting like pizza or wings. Not sure if you ended up, having a meal with your homies or just yourself. But whatever you decided to do, hopefully it ended up being a good night for you. That was my intention. I love you. I appreciate you. And if you need anything, like I said, I'm only a message away. Love you, bro. Shotgun set. Goff. Looking. Pump fake. Scrambling. Little bootleg. Floater. And complete. You did. Was it pepperoni? Good to hear. Sometimes, when you end up having an unfortunate thing happen, sometimes just a nice, kind gesture like that can go a long ways, Sometimes you don't even get that gesture from, family and friends. And, I wanted to make sure to let you know that, you're not alone. And, even though I'm on the other side of the country here in Oregon, you got me and I got you. 2nd down and 10. Goff. Hands off. Gibbs. And this Houston Texan defense has been really fast. And I don't know if it's because of these, kind of rosy red helmets and uniforms and pants that they got, but they just seem they're a little bit faster today on defense than normal. We know the offensive line got absolutely exploited a couple weeks ago, last week and the week before, but the defense, they are playing very, very motivated. No Nico Collins, no problem, I guess. Pep is the best. Yes. Good to hear, my guy. And I like your profile photo, my guy. Shotgun set. Goff. Laser. Oh, bobbled and caught and got blasted by 3 Texans. First down, J-Mo. Move the chains. What a throw. What a catch. First down, Jared Goff and the Goffense. Move the chains. For me, I like combo pizza, just because I like the onions and the green peppers and the sausage and the pepperoni, multi-cheese. But a good pepperoni pizza will definitely hit for a lot of people as well. Unless you're like Megan and it's more like cheese because you're like vegan and whatnot. But for a lot of us that, that will eat meat from time to time, with the pepperoni and the sausage and the other things, give me a combo pizza. But every once in a while, a good slice of pepperoni pizza can go a long way. Jahmyr Gibbs with the short game. End of the first quarter, 10-0 Texans. Much love, bro. You got anything that you want to see photo-wise, Elliot, music-wise? You want some like Tyler, the Creator or something like that, Frank Ocean? You got something that you want to be able to see on screen to cheer you up a little? You let me know. You don't have to, but if there's anything that you want to see, you let me know. I got you. Yeah, but like my favorite pizza is going to be Round Table because I had it when I was a kid. I used to play like Road Blasters and like a bunch of the arcade games that they had there. And again, the style of that pizza, has not changed in like 40 years. And even to this day, I've had pizza that was maybe better than that. Like when I traveled to Chicago on business a few years ago, when I ended up getting like the deep dish authentic pizza, that shit was mind blowing and it changed my life. And then when you end up coming back to, where you live, nothing compares to that authentic Chicago deep dish type of style. But if I'm going to, have any extra money, I always shoot for that King Arthur combo special. Even if a small costs me $30 and it's like 8 pieces, I would rather get that than get like a Little Caesars, for $5. Sometimes it's just the ingredients and the way that they taste. And with Round Table, they have the best green pepper and onion, olive, and I like to be able, the more toppings, the better for me. And, the more toppings where I can take each bite and I can taste like 10 different things, that's my go-to. Again, everyone's going to have their favorites when it comes to food. So Captain with a $5. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little Cactus Jack, bang, bang. All right, I got you. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. All right, let's get some AK-41. Elliot's a Saints fan as well, so we can go that route. Big win against the Falcons, but again, Kirk Cousins, bad clock management. The Falcons should have won that game, and even though the Saints fans feel like the season's over like the Buccaneers, and the Falcons more than likely are going to win by default, the Panthers, the Saints, and the Bucs, we're still going to fight, but it's just not going to end up being what we want at the end of the year with one of us going to the playoffs. But we can all fight like hell until the very end. One of Elliot's favorite artists, little Tyler, the Creator. And we got a little AK-41 coming up here in just a second. Hand off right up the gut. Gibbs. And not a whole lot there. See if I can do a little AK-41, the alien. See if I can get another one up here, and we'll get a few more sprinkled in. Swag. 3rd down and 6 at the Houston 49. Down 10-0. I don't think Lions fans saw this coming. J-Mo, 1st down, Lions. Maybe they need to go to fucking Sam Laporta. I get it. You're 7-1, and you're going to be doing kind of the 49er mentality where you're going to run the ball and play good defense. And the Lions have kind of changed their mentality. Before it was like going to Amon-Ra, going to Laporta, and kind of everyone getting a chance to shine. This year, not as much to Laporta. Not as much to Amon-Ra, but they still got that 7-1 record, a lot of ground and pound and trying to play good defense, and the defense has been drastically improved. Gibbs again. Yeah. And the Niners, 3 missed field goals, but they end up making, the one that counts there at the end. But again, I have nothing really to gain except for just, I guess Buccaneer pride, if we win. But, no Evans, no Godwin, there's no point. And even if we were somehow by a miracle able to get to the playoffs with like a 9-8 record, I don't want to be that team that gets in the playoffs and gets absolutely destroyed in the wild card round by like 40. I'd rather, lose games, get to the playoffs, hopefully next year, and get a good draft pick. So another short game. Man, Texans are flying out there with these rosy red uniforms. Yeah, yes, they do. That's why I didn't want to give you just like a small amount, where it would have been just enough maybe for like a small pizza. I was thinking if I give you a little bit more, even though my finances were kind of tight, but I figured, if I can make your day and put a smile on your face, that'll be better. Like if I have bills to pay, I'll just keep working hard, and eventually, we'll get the proper donos to be able to get those taken care of. So, you got to make sure you come to your friend's aid if you can. That's what friends do. 3rd down and 1. Shotgun set. Goff and the offense. Bootleg. He's running for it. Towards the sideline. 1st down, Lions. Yeah, they find ways to win any way possible. A lot of the wins have been kind of ugly, and they haven't looked as dominant as years past, but a win is a win. And again, once they go to the playoffs, again, it's going to be I don't think there's really a team that can beat them. Again, the defense doesn't get interceptions as much as they did in years past. No L'Jarius Sneed, but they just are sneaky good, and finding ways to get the job done, even if it's just barely squeaking out wins by 10 points or less. And you got to think with a blocked field goal, that happens like once a season. And it just so happens that it was against the Broncos and they ended up getting the dub. So, life isn't fair. But again, if you got Andy Reid, you got Spags, you got Mahomes, Kelsey, and you got Chris Jones, more times than not, you're going to find a way to be able to, get that dub. And we'll see if we end up getting a Lions-Chiefs Super Bowl. Goff, touchdown, Sam Laporta. There you go. You're welcome, Reflect. There you go. Nice job. Renee in the building. What's good? Extra point is up and good. 10-7 Texans. Lions back in it. And again, they're going to have to go to Sam Laporta more as we go deeper into the season. Because again, they've already kind of have an idea, Gibbs, Montgomery, but they need to go back to what made it work last year, going to Amon-Ra and Laporta. And if they go to Amon-Ra and Laporta more, that's going to open up a play action for J-Mo for that big 80-yard touchdown more often than not. So, I think if they get everyone involved, it's going to open up the bigger plays for them. And then eventually that could end up being the difference between them maybe winning the NFC Championship game or not. But I like what I'm seeing so far with the Lions. Goff to Laporta, 10-7 Texans. All right, see if we can get a few more photos up here.
To power your job site with campsite, even your home in the blackout. To start below $63,000. Ask about the $7,500 federal tax credit. Drive one today at Landmark Ford and Tiger. It's go time, and at AAA, we're here for it. Here for front row seats and backyard barbecues. All in for the spontaneous road trip and the well-planned vacation. For worry-free commutes, awesome adventures, and great escapes. From camping under the stars to 4-star hotels.
Let me grab a couple quick ones here, even though Odin ended up leaving, but based off the first dono, let's throw up a couple Chief photos up for him. We had one earlier, but I want to make sure we get at least a couple. regardless if he ends up popping back in a little bit later or if he ends up seeing it in the stream a little bit later or not. You just want to make sure that you're taking care of the people that are taking care of you.
Sunday Night Football brought to you by Hyundai. There's joy in every journey. By the Farmer's Dog, fresh, human-grade dog food. By Applebee's, Vets and Active Military eat free this Veterans Day. And by...
Appreciate you, Odin.
North Shore beating Summer Creek 35-10 score. North Shore, one of the 6A schools here in the area. Undefeated. Record is 10-0. Towards the big money time. This is not the playoffs around the country, really.
Lions with the kickoff.
10-7 score. We'll get it after 30. Texans part of a good storyline the first half of this NFL season.
See if we can get a couple more here for Elliott as well. I'll hit you with a Frank Ocean, too, if we hit you with Tyler. Squeeze it in. 10-7 Texans. Appreciate you, bro. A little trickery here. Defenses have been flying around here tonight for the Texans and the Lions. Hell yeah. You know what? Maybe I'll watch it too. We can watch it in spirit together. I was kind of thinking that it would be kind of good to be able to watch I haven't watched a movie in a minute. Obviously, Yellowstone debuts today, the second part of season 5. So obviously, if you are down with Yellowstone, highly recommend. I know Penguin, final episode is today. So at some point, if you get Paramount Plus or if you end up getting the Showtime HBO app, then you can watch all 8 episodes of The Penguin, which I don't have the money for to do it now. But I'm hoping, as in the next week or so, if I end up getting money to do that, I will. Going long, going deep, and complete. But I would love to be able to watch The Penguin in like a day or two and kind of binge it. Flag on the play. It's a good choice. Okay, be safe. Short gain by Mixon. Yeah, well, if people donate, then, I got to make sure I give them the proper flowers. It just so happens that, your team lost. This is my channel, not your channel. Remember that. 10-7 Houston. 9:19 left in the second quarter. Second down and 10 on the Detroit 35. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch it yet, but all my friends that have watched it said it's just amazing. And, just the transformation of Colin Farrell is just crazy. But I know it's very violent, and I've seen a couple clips. It's it's a little extra, but I mean, I always like anything Batman related or Star Wars related or Marvel related, DC related. So if it ends up being some kind of new project, I don't really shit on it. I always, make sure I just watch it myself. But I haven't heard anything negative about The Penguin. Looks fucking amazing. And then obviously the last episode of this first season was tonight. And then the debut of the second part of Yellowstone debuts tonight as well. Third down and 10. Good defense by the Lions. Man, defenses are flying around. I didn't really anticipate the Texans and Lions defense to be this good today, but here we are. Field goal is up and good. 13-7 Texans. Yeah, I know. I mean, I know that Star Wars has got a lot of different projects in the future, but some, may get greenlit, but some might end up getting canceled or pushed out, when it actually gets time to start to, produce these rumored shows and whatnot. But yeah, I can't wait to see if they keep expanding that type of world. Because, I even enjoyed Gotham when it was on Fox, when it was on a couple years back, and I thought they did a great job on that show. So regardless if it's on Fox, if it's on HBO or Showtime or something else, a streaming platform, I'm here for it. As long as they got a good director, a good actor, a good storyline, a good plot, something that I can, get attached to, I'm here for it. (13-7) Texans. See if we can get a couple more photos for Elliot here, Reflect, and all the others that donated. Anything else that you want to be able to see, just let me know.
Wow, went all in on gold. No. Homes.com. We've done your homework. I was born with wings. The psoriasis swooped in to clip them. They crushed confidence. They kept me in the shadow.
No longer will psoriasis get a piece of me. With Gonzalez, I can't wait to say, I'm back.
I'm back. I'm back. I can love my skin again.
Only Gonzalez targets and blocks IL-17A plus F to calm inflammation.
I can control my plaques and start getting myself back.
Gonzalez helps adults with moderate to severe psoriasis control plaques to deliver clearer skin fast and last.
I will give myself back before you look short.
I gotta make some more room here.
Most people got 100% clear skin.
Saw him after the first dose.
Serious side effects, including suicidal thoughts and behavior, infections, and lowered ability to fight them. Liver problems and inflammatory bowel disease have occurred. Tell your doctor if these happen or worsen, or if you've had a vaccine or plan to.
Start to get yourself
13-7 Texans. It's a good one. Yeah, the Blade franchise. Yeah, I gotta have Wesley Snipes for sure. And then Cobra Kai comes out on the 15th with Silo on Apple TV, which is kind of a sci-fi show. So those are the next shows that are like, big ones this month. And then, because I always write everything down in my calendar here. And then in December 15th, a month after that, then you're going to get Dexter Original Sin if you're a fan of Dexter. So that's what's kind of in line for some of the shows that are on some of these streaming platforms. But if you haven't got a chance to see Severance or Silo on Apple TV Plus, I highly recommend if you like sci-fi. They are incredible. All right, see where we're at on the likes. Hopefully we've gotten at least a couple more. Where are we at? All right, we're at 14. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. We need 6 more to get to 20. Now we're at 15. 5 more to go to get to 20. Let's get there. Let's try to hit that algorithm before the game ends. Yeah, good entertaining game. And I think the one thing that's a little shocking is that we thought the offenses would be a little bit more run and gun and a little bit more high profile. But really the story of the game has been the defenses flying around on both sides. I mean, you still got a Joe Mixon score, a Kaimi Fairbairn field goal, a Laporta touchdown pass, and then another Kaimi Fairbairn field goal. But the defenses have been a little bit more fast and furious than I anticipated up to this point, but it's not like it's a 3-0 game, thank God. So we get a little offense, a little defense, and we're going to have a great second half. Goff into the dirt, incomplete. Hands to the face. Automatic first down. Little play action fake. Uh-oh. Wow. Wow. Tip drill. That was amazing. First down, Texans. Wow. Yes, the Cowboys are cooked. I agree with that. We're at 14. 86 to go. Great defensive play there by the Texans, and then the lineman playing a little hot potato there to be able to get that pick. Nice job. Little screen pass. Tank Dell with a little bit of a spin move and a spin cycle. Good defense there by the Lions. I mean, the only thing I can say is that, Matt, you know, you have to realize that a good chunk of the people that watch this channel are adults. So you got grown-ass men and grown-ass women, you know, and so you have to be mature, you know, and if you're not going to be mature all the time, you're not going to necessarily get maybe the responses and the feedback that you want in return. So you have to realize that, you know, there's not a bunch of little kids that are in the room. You know, we got people that are 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 years old, you know. So you have to understand, you know, kind of social awareness on who's in the room and who you're talking to, you know, and realize that it's not always about you. Okay. You know, this is my channel, not your channel. You know, you have to realize that. Sometimes I don't think you get it. Understand who's in the room and, you know, the age gap of who's in here. You know, you have to have awareness. It's like when we end up, you know, doing a stream and, you know, you're going something totally off topic and then you don't get a response and you get your feelings hurt. Well, if we're doing baseball and all you're doing is talking college football, you're probably not going to get a response. You have to be able to read the room, even though you can't physically see the people in the room. Little short game. I hear Paisley outside my door. Lay down. Good girl. Come lay down. There you go. Lay down, honey. First down and 10. Halfback toss. And nowhere to go, running into 3 Detroit Lions. Short game. Third down and 10.
Well, and it gives you a cornerstone, right? I mean, every offensive defense is built around something. And Abel Hutchinson was that something for the Detroit Lions. And so now the whole thing is becoming film. Now remember, both teams, this is a pass rifle side that have 7.
Stroud. And complete. Pass incomplete to Robert Woods. 4th down and 10. Field goal is up and good. 16-7 Texans.
For the diving catch or not intercept. They were taking 3 points out of this drive.
And it's good. 16-7 Houston.
Homes.com is a new, elevated shopping experience. Beautiful design, tremendously rich content, and my favorite touch, it's the only site that always connects you to the listing agent. It'll be work hard.
Lovely. What about that?
Uh-oh! Look what I did. It's ringing. Hello? Hello? Hello?
I can't hear you.
Hello?
Because you glued a frame over the microphone.
I think I put the frame over the microphone.
No.
Look, we've done your homework.
Hey, there's a pharmaceutical commercial coming on.
Pharmaceutical commercial? 1 inches on right now?
It started.
Imagine this, a mild to moderate eczema treatment that targets inflammation at a key source right where you need it, without steroids.
Sounds good. Get that exercise in. That storm is already coming in here in Oregon. Me and Paisley didn't get wet on our second walk, but we almost did. So hopefully you can get some good exercise in. If we see you in the second half, great. If not, I'll be live for Monday Night Football tomorrow. And keep kicking ass in fantasy. Get that chip, my guy. And we always want to make sure that Elliott is in a good headspace to the best of his ability. 16-7 Texans. Detroit needs to get a touchdown. You know, not necessarily here in the last 4:07. I mean, if they can get a field goal, that will be, you know, at least stopping the bleeding a little bit. But the offense definitely needs to get into gear. And they haven't been able to get David Montgomery going, and I think that's a big reason why this offense is at a kind of a stalemate. 6 carries, 13 yards for Gibbs, 3 carries, 4 yards for Montgomery. And normally we don't see that. So typically that run game opens up the passing game, and they got to get the ball to your best players. Get the ball to Amon-Ra. You know, I feel like this Detroit Lion team is completely different from last year's team. Again, last year they got a little bit everyone involved, a lot of Laporta, a lot of Amon-Ra. Montgomery and Gibbs got plenty of opportunities as well. Defense wasn't as good, but they were putting up a lot of points. Now it's like they kind of turned themselves into a running team. They don't pass, I feel as much, and again, the defense is much better. And they're kind of, doing that mentality of like the Niners or a lot of the other, quality teams, like even like Michigan or like maybe the Chargers this year with Harbaugh, where you run the ball, you play great defense, and then wherever the chips fall, that's what happens. But you can't forget about your superstars. You got to make sure you're getting, Montgomery the ball, get him on Raw the ball, and we'll see if they get him the ball in the second half. Short game.
That's just the difference. It really is. We haven't seen outside of this defense, but so far tonight, in some of these ones of duo, double team runs where they try to get up to the line, but they just aren't able to get it.
Goff under center, 2nd down and 8. Play action fake, blitz, and almost another interception. Wow. That offensive line is getting beat the fuck up. Yeah. Well, it really depends, Finley, if Detroit wins the Super Bowl this year. If they get to the Super Bowl and they beat the Chiefs, there is a chance that, he would leave at that point because you already won it all. But it seems like he enjoys, being there in Detroit. And let's be honest, if you become a head coach, are you going to have the same type of weaponry as Goff, Montgomery, Gibbs, Amon-Ra, Laporta? And the answer is no. So, it's okay to be a good offensive coordinator and not just become the head coach of a shitty team. It's like, be the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars or be the OC for the Lions. I would rather be the OC for the Lions and have that on my resume. So Dan Campbell and company are going to have to make some good adjustments, but the Houston Texans offensive line was not very good in the last couple weeks. And then this week, we thought that the same thing was going to happen, that the Lion D line was going to take advantage of the Texans offensive line and maybe get to CJ Stroud for 3, 4, 5, 6 sack lunches. But the script has been flipped. And obviously the Lions offensive line is having a hard time containing Jared Goff. Oh, big hit. Wow.
To ESPN Bet. Start building your bet slip and ask profit boost to increase your points. Check out tons of parlays in the new Parlay Lounge. So easy, you can even sweat your bet alongside your favorite ESPN personalities, including me. So, what are you waiting for? Download today.
You all. This is the last time you will see me at the top. I want to carry on.
I mean, bro, you can do whatever you want, but I mean, after, you gave up, with the lead mod duties, you gave up on the fantasy league. Do you think you really represented this channel the appropriate way, since then, and every stream since you did those things? Sometimes you got to grow up and be more mature and understand who's in the room. That's my best advice for you, man. We got, people of many different ages, many different races, as young as, 15 to 18 all the way up to 90, and you got to realize that the world isn't going to revolve around just one person. It's about building connections in the room and enjoying things. It's not only going to be just asking questions or all about just one individual. That's my best advice for you. You got to look in the mirror, bro. You know what I mean? And you have to be able to understand, how things were and how things are now. They're not the same. I speak it how it is, truth hurts sometimes, but I'm never going to sugarcoat anything. If something is happening, we're going to call it out,
4:46 a.m. Woes. Dollar soccer, sunny side, gotta be one. Back in Houston, we are saying
I don't think anybody necessarily hates you, bro. It's just that you're not handling yourself in a mature way. You think you're mature, but again, compared to others in the room, I mean, Elliot is around the same age as you, and we've never had issues, so sometimes you might have to do some reflecting of your own, bro. And if you're not going to take what people are saying to heart, then I don't know what to tell you. Man in motion, 1st down and 10. Stroud, almost intercepted, incomplete. Second down. I mean, I've been telling you how things, would be better, for months and months and months now. But again, if you're not going to listen to what I have to say, then that's on you, bro. I can't control, if the other people don't want to interact, Again, it's being aware, having some social awareness, bro. You may think that you know all the answers and everything, but again, anyone that's 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, they always think that they know all the answers. And, there's a lot to learn and grow from. It's like we're trying to bring people together on the channel, not separate. 3rd down and 21. Do you think that you've handled yourself the appropriate way since, the whole lead mod duties and on quitting on the fantasy league and quitting on the lead mod duties? Things have not been the same, bro. Good defense there by the Lions. Two-minute warning, 16-7, Houston.
Until I got clearer skin. With them zealots, this is foolish not to say, I'm back. Most people got 100% clear skin, some after the first dose.
Serious side effects, including suicidal thoughts and behavior, infections, and lowered ability to fight them, liver problems, and inflammatory bowel disease have occurred. Tell your doctor if these happen or worsen, or if you've had a vaccine or plan to.
Start to get yourself back with Gonzalez.
Ask your dermatologist about Gonzalez today.
Do we really need another computer? Not everyone does. Maybe reinventing music, tracking migration to remote places, or getting others to see your vision. Then a Copilot Plus PC will make a real difference. A powerful AI computer is not for everyone. But if you're trying to change the world, even if just your own, you build one for you.
The nature of an enemy is unclear now. You must still right. Protect us.
Unlock the Vault Edition today.
I leave at 6:15 a.m. and the dashboard comes up and says Blue Cruise is available. And I just sit back, hands-free. That's it.
Cruise is on.
Anytime that I want to change lanes, I just simply touch the pedal, and that's it. It's very easy to learn. It's something that I use every day.
The worst part of my day is work, and the best part is driving to and from work.
Coming up 20 at halftime, the Chiefs just keep finding ways to win, so we're going to dive into their 9-0 start, and it's been a very bad weekend for football teams in Florida. We're going to explain it all.
In college intro, we saw Notre Dame absolutely eviscerate Florida State on this network on Saturday night. Maria will have all of that. The guys coming up at halftime. How about Dave Toad's special teams, the Chiefs, getting that field goal block at the end of the game to beat the Broncos? Really thrilling set of finishes in the early work. Tommy Townsend, the punt.
And Tommy Townsend with the punt. Good punt by Tommy there. Good special teams by the Texans. Wow. 62-yard punt from Townsend. All right, see if the Lions can end up getting a field goal to cut into this lead, or if they can get a touchdown to make it 16-14. We're at 14, 86 to go. Four more likes to get to 20. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. 3 more to get to 20. Appreciate y'all. 1 yard gain. Not a whole lot on the ground for Gibbs and Montgomery, and that's why we're sitting at a 16-7 score. You know, you go run game, you know, through every single game, and then what happens if you end up getting that run game stuffed? You got to make sure you're still going to Amon-Ra, you're going to Laporta, you're going to J-Mo. You're going to have to open it up, you know, because now you're getting a little bit of exposed. You know, you're used to just running at will on any team and getting big numbers out of Montgomery and Gibbs, both scoring touchdowns every week and sometimes multiple, you know. So you might be able to play that way a good chunk of the season, but there is going to come a time, whether it be in the regular season or the playoffs, where that run game isn't going to be as successful as it normally is. And you're going to have to figure out other ways to be able to move that football. It's not like they don't got a great wide receiver in Amon-Ra St. Brown. It's not like they don't got a guy that scored 10 touchdowns as a rookie at tight end and Sam Laporta. You know, Ben Johnson, get those guys the ball. Jerry in the building, what's good? Trips right. Shotgun set. Goff. And complete. Another 3 and out. I don't think we've seen Detroit look this weak all year. This is, and again, you know, anybody can beat anyone on any given Sunday, Monday, Thursday. You know, no Nico Collins, no Stephon Diggs. Hell, they don't even have their best defensive player in Will Anderson Jr., and they're beating the brakes off of Detroit so far here in the first half. No, I don't think anybody saw this coming, even though Detroit on the road, they're 4-0 this year on the road. They're 7-1. It's the best team in the NFC up to this point, up to this game. But again, it shows you, like, you know, anybody can beat anybody. You never really know, you know, whether it's those all red uniforms with the helmets, you know, whatever pregame speech D'Amico Ryans gave, you know, this is like a playoff game, act like it. And obviously one team came to play today and the other did not. I mean, it's not over yet, but again, this is one of the first times all year that we haven't seen the Detroit running backs be effective. But we'll see if that is the case in the second half. Yeah, definitely a trap game for the Lions here today. You never know when you're going to end up getting your, Super Bowl effort against someone. It's like us in fantasy that are at the bottom. Sometimes we end up getting someone's A+ effort. And it seems like no matter if I play a good team, a bad team, or a mediocre middle of the tier team, I get everyone's best effort. And, if I get everyone's best week in the season, I'm not going to win very often if my guys aren't hitting. So sometimes that happens. You end up getting the right matchup, or the other team ends up having first down, Texans. And sometimes it's about matchups. Sometimes it's a little bit about luck, and sometimes you just don't really know how things are going to play out in an NFL game. And, that's why these games are so exciting, because with the NBA and the NHL and the MLB, we kind of have an idea for the most part. And we do get surprised in those leagues as well. But with the NFL, I feel it's the most closely, competitive matchup week in and week out. Even the shitty teams can beat the good teams or the elite teams. And again, you can say that for the other leagues as well, but I think it happens more often in the NFL than in the NHL, NBA, and the MLB. And so that's why it's so competitive and there's so much parity, because you just don't really know what you're going to get, not only in fantasy football points-wise, but also in wins and losses throughout the year. You just don't know what teams are going to show up and what teams are going to shit the bed. And sometimes that can be exciting when our teams do well, but if you're a Lion fan right now, for them shitting the bed in the first half like this, not ideal. And I imagine Dan Campbell is going to lose a lung or two by screaming in the locker room to get this team focused to try to come back in the second half. Stroud. First down, Texans. Is it home field advantage? A little bit. Is it the uniforms and the helmet? A little bit. But they're just more focused today. They came to play. Maybe Detroit thought this was going to be, an easy game, and the Texans, came in ready to go to war, right? And if you go in ready to go to war and another team is just kind of out there, going through the motions, you'll definitely figure out which one is which very quick. And the Lions are on their heels right now. This is not something that they're used to as a 7-1 team, best team in the NFC up to this point. Stroud, floater, incomplete. Like CJ Stroud has had some games where he's looked fucking amazing, but he's also had some bad games where he looked like a bottom 5 quarterback this year, even though we know he's not a bottom 5 quarterback. But again, after the success that he had in his rookie season, I mean, hell, Sarah can tell you, she's got him in fantasy. There's been some weeks where she wishes that she would have put Kirk Cousins in because Kirk played better. And CJ Stroud, is going to have that aura and that vibe of name recognition, but there has been some games where he shit the bed, or maybe the defense that he played, knew all the plays that were coming and he couldn't really be that successful. But tonight, with no Will Anderson, their best defensive player, no Stephon Diggs, no Nico Collins, so their best 2 wide receivers are also out. Yes, you got Joe Mixon, right? But CJ looks much more comfortable, and the Lions D-line and the Lions defense is not getting to Houston. Touchdown, Mechie! And they are blowing out the Lions. Wow. Wow. And that's why we watch these games. One team is laser focused, the other just going through the motions. Maybe it got a little cocky, a little overconfident, thinking they were going to come into Houston and just take care of business and blow them out. And sometimes you got to get a little harsh reality, a little slap in the face that, hey, we're gonna take you out. And that's exactly what's happening right now to Detroit and that defense. Touchdown, Mechie! Wow. And this would be the good CJ Stroud. And this is also a game where you're almost kind of, if you're a Lion fan, you're like, where's Aiden Hutchinson? We need him, right? And then obviously Za'Darius, they picked him up from the Browns. He's not playing today. And maybe if he was playing today, or with Hutch there, maybe the score isn't 23-7. Maybe it's a little bit more competitive. But you're not going to get the Lions exposed like this that often. Every once in a while, a team is going to get beat up and have a bad game. But, the game is far from over. Even though the Texans do have a big lead, we know Detroit can strike fast. but we'll see if they can make the adjustments. But at least at this point, it doesn't look like the Lions are going to be able to come back. Because if you can't get that running game going, you're not going to be able to get the passing game going. Because if the run game is going, then they have to bring an extra man up and cheat up. Then that leaves more opportunities for Amon-Ra, Laporta, J-Mo. Now, it's like the running game isn't working. The defense isn't working. You're still going to be able to get a touchdown pass here or there to Laporta, Amon-Ra, or J-Mo. But at that point, what are you down by? 15, 16, 17? What a catch there by Mechie in double coverage. Texans are cooking. Absolutely, Finley. Just like your Panthers were. I'm happy for you, man. I hate seeing, fans of teams, just struggle and be sad over and over again. Now, I know some people love it. They love seeing people in fucking misery, but not me, man. I think if you've gone through certain things in your life, you wish the best for people instead of wishing hate and wishing, people to be fucking depressed and whatnot forever. It's, everyone deserves to feel the joy of a winning team, regardless of what sport, NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, any of the above, or even in college athletics. Toby in the building. What's good? Well, your defense played good. You almost beat Minnesota. They had to kick all field goals, and you had Mac Jones. So obviously you already knew going in that was going to be a loss, but, again, not every week is going to be ideal. There's going to be a lot of things that need to change. And that's what happens sometimes, when you end up getting 2 or 3 teams that suck in the division and only one good one, or you end up having all 4 teams in the division all kind of being average or mid or mediocre, like the NFC West, And who would have thought, like right now, the Cardinals, are they the best team, in the NFC West? They've been the hottest team within the last few weeks, but that was a team that we all thought would finish in last place. And now they're, sitting like essentially in first. So anything can happen. It's a long season. We still got half of the season to go, but it definitely gives you an idea that you cannot overlook any opponent, especially in the NFL. He said 2059. Yeah, but Finley, it's more than just Joe Flacco and AR. Defense, offensive line, scheme, coaching, play calling. There's a number of reasons, why they're not winning games. And it can't just only fall on Flacco and AR every single game when they lose. The media wants to push it that way. The fans want to push it that way. One guy does good, and then another guy does bad. Oh, bring this guy in or put this guy back in. But at the end of the day, those guys single-handedly are not good enough to win football games for their teams. It has to be a team effort. And unfortunately, the Colts have not had a team effort with AR or a team effort with Flacco consistently. There's been some looks, like game number 1, for AR looked pretty good, but then after that looked like shit, and then with Flacco had a couple good games, but then has had a couple horrible games where he looked like shit. So, it's one of those things, coaching, play calling, quarterback play, offensive line, defense, special teams. It's not just the quarterbacks. Goff intercepted. Ay, ay, ay. 23-7 Houston. We're at halftime now. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Yeah, well, again, they had a focus on stopping the run. And if you stop the run, you beat the Lions, right? So obviously that'll be, something that if the Lions end up making the Super Bowl and they play the Chiefs, right, with Chris Jones, and they end up stopping the run, you're not going to be able to win the Super Bowl, if they don't have Montgomery and Gibbs go off every game. Like, if you've noticed, there hasn't really been an opponent that has shut them down like this. This is like the first time this season that we've seen a team that doesn't have their best defensive player play like they have him in there, and they make them look very average or mid. But again, one team came in a little overconfident and cocky. The other team came in, maybe as an underdog at home, but wanted to prove that they belong. And again, it's only a half, but again, there's a little bit of a blueprint on how to beat the Lions, kind of how like you beat the San Francisco 49ers when they were good. You stop the run, you stop the team. If you can't stop the run, then you're kind of fucked. But again, it's like even though the team's got a lot of weapons, if you're able to shut down the run and they primarily run and play good defense, you shut down one of the strengths, then they kind of look a little lost, right? It's like we've seen, Brock Purdy look like a top 5 quarterback. We've seen Goff throw a perfect game, go like 18 for 18, but that doesn't mean that they're going to play like that the whole season. And lo and behold, there it is. We're a few likes away from 20. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. We need 3 more to get to 20. Let's get there, baby. Yeah, and I guess, with Ben Johnson, like I said, I liked the offense last year better, where it was more Amon-Ra and Laporta with Gibbs and Montgomery, and then this year, it's like Gibbs, Montgomery, J-Mo, and then Amon-Ra and Laporta they act like, Amon-Ra is like the 4th string receiver, and Laporta is garbage, and they have like a garbage tight end, and Laporta, as a rookie, got 10 tutties. Was like the best tight end in fantasy and the best tight end last year. So how do you go from being the best tight end and getting 10 touchdowns to barely getting the ball all year? So that, to me, that's a Ben Johnson issue, and again, he could have left and been a head coach, but again, for the most part, it's worked by running the ball and playing good defense. But now Aiden Hutchinson is gone, right? Now you got exposed, with no Montgomery and Gibbs in this game. You have to make sure that you're not forgetting about your pieces and making sure everyone gets a chance to shine. Otherwise, you're going to get people like Amon-Ra that's going to get a little dejected and a little, maybe not motivated, to run hard on every single route when shit's going like this, And I really feel that within the last few weeks, they've started to implement Laporta, but if they would have been able to do that at the beginning of the year and did the same thing as last year with this defense that has been a little bit better than last year's defense, then you have the right formula. But you can't just add and then subtract and then think that things are going to be just fine. Oh, we're going to put more J-Mo, but we're not going to give the ball to Amon-Ra and Laporta, and we're going to be a better team. It doesn't make any fucking sense. So, and again, they've been able to get away with just going heavy to Gibbs and Montgomery, and no one has really been able to stop them besides today. And now you're getting a little bit of a wake-up call. So, Hybrid in the building. What's good? Nice. That'll be a must-see TV game. And obviously, Jaden Daniels got outplayed by Russell Wilson, but it shows you. Even people like Russ might be a little crazy off the field. He might be delusional. He might be in his own world with Sierra and his kids. But the bottom line is, Russ is back. Whether you love him or you hate him, like it gives Pittsburgh a better chance with TJ Watt in that defense to make a run. And again, Russ off the field is a little bit different than Russ on the field this year. But Russ is back. And good for him. I might not necessarily be a fan of his, personally, but I like seeing people, be at the top, get humbled and then, go down, and then people give up on someone, but he still believes in himself. Obviously, the head coach still believes in him. The teammates believe in him. He's better than Justin Fields, and it shows. They made the right move. Mike Tomlin was smart to make the move, and just imagine if Russ started at the beginning of the year. Maybe the Steelers have a couple additional wins. So, and again, the season is long, right? Sometimes it takes a while for a guy to get their rhythm. It might not be the first month or the second month. If you're hot and healthy at the end of the year, that's really what matters. Yeah, Kyler played much better.
We keep saying they find ways to win. We wanted to show you, starting with game 1, we were all victims when they were taking on the Ravens, and they really came to us.
There's a couple last plays, but right here, Lamar goes up, he goes back. Everyone stays disciplined in the rush, and then back. The ball they put there.
23-7, Houston. What's good, Hybrid?
Here we go.
Yeah, seriously, Jets fans, that's embarrassing as hell. You know what I mean? Like I said, you got Rodgers, you got Brees Hall, you got Garrett Wilson, you just traded for Devontae Adams. Like, offense stinks, defense stinks. I mean, I don't know what's worse, being a Jet fan or a Giant fan. Thank God I didn't grow up in New York, and I'm not a fan of either one of those. But, yeah, you'll definitely have to check on the mental health of those fan bases. Not looking too good at the moment if you are a New York-based fan. Facts. But it all starts with the culture. You got to have the right GM, the right owner, the right coach, the right quarterback. You have to have the right pieces. And if you don't have the right pieces, right, then ultimately you're going to have the same thing happen year in and year out. And the belief is, even when new players come in, same shit, different year. Different players, but the same result at the end. We suck. And that's unfortunate. So. Well, you did go to an AFC, championship game just a few years back with Bortles, and was only about a quarter or 2 quarters away from a Super Bowl. So it shows you what it takes to have a good team. Blake Bortles, Leonard Fournette, having Bouye, having Calais Campbell. You have to have, those certain types of players there to be successful. And if you don't have, those type of dogs there all playing together with the right coach at the right time, then it's not going to work. And you guys haven't had a collectively good team like that Jags team with all those great players at that time since then. So, again, it doesn't, it takes years sometimes to be able to build up a team the right way, and you're going to know when your team is good again is when you can compare it to the Bortles, Leonard Fournette, Bouye, type of team that you had, back then. That's just facts. Saxonville was fun to watch, you know what I mean? They had a nice little run where they had a couple nice players on offense, but they also had some really good players on defense. It wasn't just, one side of the ball was good. They were both good, especially that defensive side. But again, it shows you how you can fall from grace really fast. Like, you could be in the AFC championship game, right there, very, very close. And then all of a sudden, the team gets blown up. Then you end up being the worst team in the NFL for 2 years. And then now you're trying to be able to, be somewhat respectable. But again, is Trevor Lawrence the guy? He may or may not be. Is Dougie P the guy? Probably needs to be fired, and you probably need to find someone else as a coach. But other than that, better offensive line, better defense, better draft picks, better overall team. Like, there's a lot of holes on the team. You just can't expect to be the worst team in the NFL for 2 years, and then all of a sudden, a year later, you're going to be in the Super Bowl. It takes time. And also, what you have going against you is you're a small market team like Tampa. When you're a small market team like Tampa, a lot of things have to line up, to be successful. Not every free agent is like, oh my God, let me go sign with Jacksonville. Said no one ever. Like, maybe back when you had Calais Campbell and Leonard Fournette, they were like, yeah, let's go to Jacksonville. Let's go for Saxonville. But I mean, since then, I don't really think a lot of people are like, yeah, let's go to Jacksonville. So you guys have to be able to create the new culture yourself, And again, that's something that's going to be easier said than done. We're at 14, 86 to go. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. Help your boy out.
Please don't call us too bad if we got this wrong.
This is big. Let's go. Let's go, kids.
This is the
Some people just know they can save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first.
Who's ready for my famous chart?
Like, to check the mascot first before bringing food to a tailgate. To check Allstate first for a quote that can save you hundreds.
Story with Wayne. but psoriasis swooped in to clip them.
We crushed confidence. They kept him in the shadows.
No longer will psoriasis get a piece of me. With Benzellix, I can't wait to say.
I'm back.
Already back. I can love my skin again.
Only Benzellix targets and blocks IL-17A plus to calm inflammation.
I can control my body and start getting myself back.
Benzellix helps adults with moderate to severe.
I hear you, right? But you fail to realize your quarterback fucking had 3 picks today as well, and you guys barely beat the Jags. So before you come in and start talking shit about the Lions, one team actually could make the Super Bowl, even though they're playing shitty tonight, Detroit. One team that's not going to the Super Bowl, you, the Minnesota Vikings. Okay? Not going to happen. So again, before you come in here and start talking shit about the Lions, you got to look in the mirror just a little bit at your own quarterback and Sam Darnold. No touchdowns, 3 picks. Come on, Jim. Wake up.
Amazing new iPhone 16 15 mobile.
It's the first iPhone built for Apple intelligence. That's like peanut butter on jelly on go. Get 4 iPhone 16s on us. Plus 4 lines for $25. And save on every plan versus the other big guys. What a deal. That's a lot if you ask me. If y'all give it away too fast, T-Mobile's going to happen.
Bet you didn't expect that response. Do your research. 23-7 Texans. I remember my first football game. Bro, you're going to come into the room and talk shit about Goff when your quarterback fucking had 3 picks today against the Jags? Hilarious. (23-7) Houston. People always love to talk shit about everyone else instead of looking at their own team and their own players and being able to recognize what's going on. I love it. Yeah, but when you first come in as an expansion team and you have Mark Brunell and it's something new,
23-7 Houston on top as we start the third quarter. Time now for tonight's buzz, which is powered by AWS. And the Lions 0-12 down double digits at halftime.
Detroit Lions 0 for 12 when down by 10. And it shows you can't do the same strategy against every opponent every single week, thinking you're going to get the same result every single time. Again, we know how explosive Gibbs and Montgomery are, Sonic and Knuckles, Thunder and Lightning, but if you stop the run, you stop the Lions, and again, they don't give the ball enough to Amon-Ra and Laporta like they did last year. And then I think that might come back to bite them. Like we could still see the Lions winning the Super Bowl or getting to the Super Bowl or getting to the NFC Championship game. They are one of the better NFC teams. This is just a bad first half. But it's definitely going to be an eye-opener for this coaching staff, realizing that, if you think that you're good enough to represent the NFC, that's one thing. But what happens when you play the Chiefs in the Super Bowl and they stop the run with Chris Jones and company? Then how are you going to win the Super Bowl? You got to start implementing Amon-Ra a lot more. Otherwise, it's going to be a long, long year for the Detroit Lions, where you can end up being a good or elite team, but you might get knocked off in the playoffs, especially if they feed off this tape. But you have to have the personnel on defense to be able to stop Gibbs and Montgomery, and a lot of teams don't have that. Intercepted! There you go. That's how you come out of the gates. And the Lions have a good secondary. Wow. Carlton Davis. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, baby. Branch is a stud as well. But he was cluing the whole time, reading the eyes, and he went for it, and he got it. That's my boy right there, Carlton Davis III, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, baby. Nice job. There you go. Now we got to see if the Lions can capitalize and get a touchdown here. At least a field goal to stop the bleeding to get to 10 would be positive. Great play by Davis. You know, a lot of times when he did this for Tampa, he would get burnt for like a 40-yard gain after, you know, because he was just taking too many chances. But he took the right chance right there. Nice job. I would assume Montgomery and Gibbs are going to start getting going in this half. I imagine Campbell ripped into him big time. A lot of yelling. So I would expect the Lions to be putting up quite a bit of points in the second half here. And we'll see if they can come back and win. And if the Lions do come back and win, would I be shocked? No, I would not. You got to think this is the best team in the NFC up to this game, up to this point. 7-1 record, 4-0 on the road. Man in motion, handoff, little toss to Montgomery. Breaking a tackle, breaking another. First down, Lions. Move the chains. Let's get the ball to Amon-Ra St. Brown. Come on now. It's like, how do you got a guy that's a top 5, top 3 wide receiver, and the guy barely gets the ball this year compared to last year? It's unbelievable. I mean, they should be treating Amon-Ra like he's fucking Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase, because he is, you know. I feel like, you know, Garrett Wilson, you know, if he had a good quarterback, he would be in that same, you know, recognition. You know, if they had someone that could actually get Garrett Wilson the ball, like Jetta and Chase get the ball normally, you know, you would be able to have similar stats with Garrett Wilson and Amon-Ra. I really, truly believe that. But again, you know, the Aaron Rodgers experiment failed, and you have Jared Goff. Get Amon-Ra the fucking ball. He's a game changer. Great player. Second down and 11. Shotgun set for Goff. Intercepted. Wow. And that's what happens when you don't go to Amon-Ra St. Brown. You know, if you don't want to listen, then you're going to pay the price. Another interception for Jared Goff. Yeah, I kind of had a feeling that he was going to score a touchdown in his first game. You know, especially with, you know, some of the injuries with some of the players on the 49ers. And this happens, right? To even the elite quarterbacks. You know, you could be a top 5 quarterback and have a 4 or 5 pick game. You could be a top 10 quarterback. You could be a top 16 quarterback. You know, this is just going to be one of those games where you just have to, you know, burn the tape, you know, watch it, get yelled at by the coaches, burn it, and then move on to next week, you know, and then just pray and be happy that you don't play the Texans 2 or 3 times a season. But like everyone knows, one bad half or one bad game doesn't make, you know, the overall perception of a player either good or bad or, you know, whatever, or mid, you know. Even the superstars have bad games from time to time. And the defense obviously is locked in here today. We need 2 more likes to get to 1 more like to get to 20. If you're in the room right now and haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. 1 more to get to 20, and then we're hitting the goal. Let's go, baby. I mean, the Vikings played very, very good at the beginning of the year, you know, but again, they feel like they're kind of sliding, and Darnold isn't as good as he was at the beginning part of the year. And then obviously we've seen Caleb Williams struggle quite a bit. And at one point, the NFC North was the best division in football. But after everything kind of shakes out, I would assume that you'll have the Packers and Lions, you know, towards the top, Vikings underneath them, and then the Bears. Unless the Vikings can figure out some of the issues that they have to, you know, clean up some of the mistakes with Darnold and obviously get a little bit better of a defense. But I guess we'll wait and see. It is possible the Vikings make the playoffs. You know, we already have Vikings, Lions, and Packers, but we'll have to wait and see. Oh, I bet. I'm just happy that the Panthers ended up getting that dub. Now, did you wake up early to watch the game? Were you up at like 6 a.m. watching the game against the Giants, or did you sleep in and start watching after like the first quarter? Damn, Blazers down by 20 to the Grizzlies. Yeah, they're getting absolutely demolished, and no jaw on top of that. You watch a full game. First down and 10. Little short gain out of the end zone by Mixon. Second down and 9. Four interceptions, week 1 through 9, 4 tonight. And you can definitely tell what team watched more tape than the other. You know, what team that was motivated today and what team came in maybe a little overconfident and got slapped in the mouth. Stroud, pump fake, and complete. What happened to my hands? Yeah. You also have to have realistic expectations, you know, when the teams are good and when the teams are bad. Like me as a Buck fan, you don't hear me saying, oh, we're going to make the playoffs. Oh, we're going to win every game with no Evans and Godwin. You know, sometimes you can be a fan, but you have to be realistic. You know, if you have injuries to guys like Wirfs and Godwin and Evans, you know you're not going to win. You know that Baker is going to try to compete the best that he can with his abilities, but the reality is you're not going to be winning a whole lot of games if your team isn't full strength. So, you know, it's one thing about having fandom, but also, you know, realizing when your team is not full strength. That way you don't get overly mad in the losses when you already know your team isn't very good. You know, you have to be able to understand, you know, when the team is good and when the team isn't. And that way you don't put yourself through mental health hell, you know, throughout the week. You know, you have to understand where your team sits at the moment. And I would know. I mean, hell, Blazer fan, terrible. Mariners never make the playoffs, right? Kraken hasn't really been that good this season. You know, Buccaneers not making the playoffs. Like, really, the only thing I got going right now is the Oregon Ducks, and that's it. So everything else is failing. Fantasy football, Blazers, Kraken, Mariners, Buccaneers. I mean, I need at least one thing good in my life. I mean, besides Paisley Pup and you guys and the channel. Khalif Raymond, gets blasted. I mean, based on how Goff is playing, hell, he might end up with 6 picks before this game is up. And obviously, they haven't really been that effective running the ball. So it's not like you can be like, well, Jared, you've had a career terrible game. You had 4 picks throughout the first 9 weeks or 8 weeks, and now you have 4 today. You can't just abandon throwing the ball. It's not like Gibbs and Montgomery have got 100 yards each right now. So really, Ben Johnson is going to have, you know, this is going to be really, really tough the rest of the way, and I don't expect Detroit to come back. If they would have been able to get a field goal or a touchdown off that pick off Carlton Davis, maybe. But and they got no Will Anderson Jr. out there either, so what's the excuse? Right? No Diggs, no Nico Collins, no Will Anderson Jr. What's the excuse? You got your ass kicked, right? They came in too cocky. Yeah. There you go. Now I got another injury. It's hard being a dedicated, you know, hardcore sports fan, you know, because we live and breathe, you know, with our teams. And, you know, when things are going good, obviously that's great. But gosh, man, when things are going bad, and then if you have multiple teams that you root for that are bad or injured or just not being successful, it can definitely wear on you, you know. So again, sometimes you have to be able to have other things, you know, like for me, it's Paisley, exercising and getting outside, getting that fresh air. Because, I mean, if I didn't have my pup and if I wasn't exercising and changing my diet, I would definitely not be in a very good place mental health-wise, for sure. So those are things that kind of help counteract, you know, some of the negativity that's going on, you know, in our lives and whatnot. And obviously, I've cut back a lot on drinking and whatnot as well. So You know, you take care of your body, you take care of your mind, you try to be able to make an effort, you know, to exercise and eat a little bit better. It'll definitely help. Yeah. They're fun to watch. A quality team. And obviously they were close the previous year of winning the Stanley Cup. And sometimes you got to be able to lose before you win. And that's exactly what happened. They almost got it the year before. They got it last year. And who knows? Maybe you guys will go back to back this year. But you guys look pretty strong up to this point.
Much a single steroid-free cream that provides eczema relief at your fingertips. That's Opsilora. Relief reimagined. Ask your eczema specialist about reducing itch fast with Opsilora.
Some people just know they can save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. But you gotta check your spelling first before taking off your shirts. Check Allstate first for a you can save you hundreds.
Let's take a look at the Walmart 4 case. We can talk a little bit about Paul Steyer, the middle linebacker, Brett Warner, if you will, for the Steelers. He has been penetrating, he has been making plays in the middle of that defense that simply have not been made the last few weeks. And you can tell it's sort of a mind meld, right? That goes on between Steyer.
Got to be careful. Paisley's like right behind me. Aziz Al-Shahir. 23-7 Texans. I don't think anyone saw this on their bingo card tonight. Goff, plenty of time, going long, going deep. First down, Sam Laporta, move the chains. It's like they should have been going to Sam Laporta at the very beginning of the year, not waiting until Montgomery and Gibbs get absolutely stuffed. And again, it's cool that Laporta is getting an opportunity, but again, you got a top 5 wide receiver that's being ignored, pretty much this whole season. Nice job by Laporta. First and goal. Shotgun set. There it is. Touchdown, Lions. David Montgomery. Finally. Now we have a game. There we go. Way to bring that electricity, finally. He's got a big Sam Laporta catch for and then a David Montgomery touchdown, so good timing. You're starting to get some points. You got points on both players and back-to-back plays, and now they're going for a 2-point conversion, and you might get another. Let's see what they got here. Now we actually have a game with Reflect back in the room, 23-13 Texans. Big reception by Laporta, big run by Montgomery, and stuffed on the second attempt on the 2-point conversion. Down by 10. But while you were gone, first play for the Texans in the second half, Carlton Davis, the corner, the former Buccaneer corner, jumped the route, picked off C.J. Stroud, but then the next play, Goff threw another pick. So Goff right now is at 4 interceptions. So in the first 8 or 9 weeks, he had 4 picks total. He's got 4 tonight. So, but that didn't make him avoid, going deep to Laporta for that big connection. And then the next play was David Montgomery walking into the end zone. Probably should have just took the extra point instead of going for 2, but it is what it is. Because at this point, if you're down by 9 or you're down by 8 or 10, it doesn't really matter. We have plenty of time left in the game. It's not the fourth quarter. So, but we already know how Campbell goes. He's like Chip Kelly. He loves to go for 2 and go for it on 4th down. But I think on that particular instance, I think I would have just taken the extra point by Bates, to gain some extra momentum. So thank you so much. Reflect with the Sixer. Appreciate the support. We'll see if we get anyone else to follow suit. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks. Little Cactus Jack, bang, bang. We're at 20 now, 80 to go. Thank you so much. All right, CJ Stroud, your turn. Goff is goffing it up. That Goffense is normally on point, but not today. Sarah with $1. Every dollar counts. Yeah, I got him on my bench. And obviously, I know my season's completely over, but I figured that would give me a decent chance against the Jacksonville Jaguar defense. But based on Sam Darnold and how shitty he did today, I didn't expect Sam Darnold to go for 0 touchdowns, 3 picks against Jacksonville. So, and then obviously Patrick Mahomes has a couple starts against the Panthers and the Raiders. So normally I don't like carrying 3 quarterbacks, but when your team sucks and you don't know how to get points at quarterback, sometimes you got to roster 3 guys. So stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little cactus jack, bang, bang. But it shows you if you don't have a top 5 quarterback in fantasy, you have no chance to compete. You know, you just don't. You know, if you don't end up having a top 5 quarterback, you have no chance whatsoever. You know, you got to be able to have those guys to keep you afloat. You know, so for the people that have like the Josh Allens and, you know, the Jalen Hurtses, you know, the Lamar Jacksons, it shows, you know. And for the teams that don't, we're obviously the teams that are in the bottom 5. You know, you got to have that quarterback, even if you end up drafting him in the first round like Elliott did. Third down and 8. We're at 21, 79 to go. Let me know what you guys want to do for photos. Reflect and Sarah, if any. Stroud. There we go. Go, baby, go. Dalton Schultz, first down, Texans. Big gain there. Big key block by Mixon. Giving CJ more time, and that was easy. Six-yard gain by Joe Mixon to the Detroit 30. Intercepted. Carlton Davis again. Oh, my God. It's a pick party. I mean, how many interceptions do we have? Like 6 or 7 now total? Holy cow. I didn't see this on the bingo card. Holy cow. Just when they started to get momentum right there and they said, hey, pump the brakes a little bit. We can get a pick on our end too. Oh, my. Goff, 1 touchdown, 4 picks. Stroud, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. They got greedy here. Carlton Davis. Wow. Yeah, exactly. And also on top of that with Ben Johnson, like if you already know you're not going to be going to J-Mo that much and Gibbs and Montgomery are getting kind of stuffed, you're going to Laporta a couple times, but you got a top 5 receiver in Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm just very confused. When you have a capable quarterback and you have an amazing offense, how do you not go to your top 5 wide receiver? That's like the Vikings, like avoiding Justin Jefferson. Like, what are you doing? But I guess it is what it is. It's a pick party. 6 interceptions. No one saw this coming.
Y'all see this? Patrick Mahomes is saying goodbye. People was tricked. Where'd it go? It was actually saying goodbye to his old phone.
I'm switching to the amazing new iPhone 16 for T-Mobile.
It's the first iPhone built by intelligence. That's like peanut butter on jelly on go. Get 4 iPhone 16s on us. Plus 4 lines for $25. It's saving on every plan versus the other big guy. What a deal. That's a lot. You ask me.
Crazy. Wild game. Again, lots of defense in this game. A lot of unpredictability. But I think that's why we love the NFL, right? Like most people thought, okay, the Lions are going to come in. They're going to dominate the Texans. They'll probably end up winning by like 10 or more. And that is far from the case. Right now, you're down by 10, and Goff has got 4 picks, and he'll probably, if he's not careful, he might end up with 5 or 6. I mean, you just can't run the ball the rest of the game and think you're going to come back and win, can you? Captain in the building, what's good?
Think about it. Turnovers, pancake lunch. Oh, I just scored. Feed me more. Refrigerator Perry was not his real name.
I don't think football's trying to sell you food.
Oh, really? And what are you eating, Jerry?
This is your undefeated team. Josh Allen, Jetta, Dell, Kamara, Mixon, Njoku, Nico, Thomas Jr., Higgins, Chase Brown, Tyler Bass. Wow. Obviously, some of the guys have been, beat up with injuries, but you got good backups to, fill in for the time being. I wish I had Jalen Hurts or Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson. Like I said, it's like if you don't get a top 5 quarterback, you're fucked. You have 0 chance of competing because that quarterback position is so important to be able to set the tone for your team. And if you can't get 20 to 30 points out of your quarterback and you're, like me, trying to fucking find the matchups and streaming quarterbacks, and having other guys shit the bed like AR and Dak, and then I have to, get guys like Darnold and Goff and Mahomes, you're fucked. You're chasing 20 to 30 points and you might be able to get it a few weeks, but also you're going to have weeks when you get under 10. And if you end up getting under 10, you are fucked and you're going to lose. It definitely has been the most unenjoyable season for me. But again, I'm not going to be doing it after this season. And I don't want to say I'm never going to do it again because after I take a year off, I might get the itch to do it again. But, I only have myself to blame. But if you don't got a top 5 quarterback, you are done. Yeah, Hurts and Murray. I think the thing that is most painful for me is that I'm fucking trying. It's like regardless if I'm, 8-0 or 9-0 or I'm 1-9, or 1-8, I'm still going to be making the same amount of moves. And I know that was a little crazy when Reflect saw me making 100 to 200 moves and everyone else is at 50 or less. But it shows you I do it no matter if I'm good or if I'm bad. I'm always trying to make my team better top to bottom every week. And that's probably the most painful thing is that, people that aren't even trying, that may not understand the game as much. Another interception. Are you kidding me? But sometimes people can get lucky. Sometimes people don't know how to play and they win, but for someone like me that knows how to play, that knows all the players, and just unfortunately bad drafting, injuries, bad luck, I think that's really what hurts me the most is that I know how to play this game. I've never finished lower than 3rd. I'll make 150 to 200 moves. I'll make 100 more moves or 150 more moves than anyone else in the league. And then to be able to come out with results like this is very disappointing. So, I have to walk away. I don't want it to affect my mental health, which it obviously has. So. I mean, especially if all the teams that I root for, all of them suck ass on top of that. It's like I can't have my fantasy team suck on top of all my teams that I root for suck, except for the Ducks. And that's kind of where we're at. So too much negativity for me, That's what happens when you're passionate and you care about shit. Short game. 5 picks for Goff, and I like I said, I had a feeling that it wasn't going to end, and you're not going to be able just to run the football and win the game, so he's still going to be forced to throw, and it wouldn't shock me if he ends up throwing another one before the game's over. I mean, look how much time is left. 7:38 left in the 3rd and the 4th quarter. My goodness. Well, that's the only thing that's going to be able to make things right in the universe, right? Like right now, I feel like I'm in Stranger Things and I'm in the upside down, when bad is good and good is bad. But Yeah, if the Ducks win the Natty, that'll be the one thing that'll make it all worth it, you know. Yeah, they don't get him the ball. Maybe Ben Johnson does need to go to another team and they can get a fucking coordinator that can actually get Amon-Ra the ball. I'm just very confused. You know, how you can have a top 5 wide receiver and you just don't care. I mean, I don't think that would go very well in Minnesota if you had Justin Jefferson there and Darnold never threw him the ball. You know, someone's getting fired or replaced. 3rd down and 1. Looks like they fucked up on that play, but Mixon recovers. 1st down, Texans. Are you going to toss it? Like, CJ didn't even know what was going on. I mean, I got to get a Mariners pennant and I got to get a Ducks natty. You know, I got to get those in my lifetime before I'm gone. Yeah. And like I said, I got Darnold, Goff, and Mahomes all mediocre, you know. And most of the time when I play the matchups, like, you know, going against like a green 32 Jacksonville, I thought Darnold would get me 20 to 30 points today. And instead he gets me like 4 to 6 points and 3 picks. So I got Goff on the bench that I picked him up specifically to play against Reflect next week, even though I'm going to lose by $1 billion. But I thought that would give me maybe the best shot out of my quarterbacks, but I don't trust him now. I don't trust Darnold. I don't trust Goff. I might have to just say fuck it and go with Mahomes next week. And even though that might be against the Buffalo Bills, but, you know, like I said, with DeAndre Hopkins and Kelsey there, I think that Mahomes is going to be better than guys like Goff and maybe Darnold that were better in the first part of the season. Adding DeAndre Hopkins has elevated Mahomes a little bit, I think, fantasy-wise and in real life. So, but again, it's like I don't really expect to win too many games because I get everyone's A+ fucking effort every week I play, regardless if I play an elite player, a middle of the tier player, or a bad player like myself at this point. It's like no matter what I do, it doesn't matter. It's just, you know, and I feel like I got some, you know, quality players, but it seems like I can't get the guys to hit at the right time. So, story of my life, but I'm still trying. I'm not going to finish in last place. I'm still trying. I'm going to end up having like 200 moves by the time the season's over. And we got a couple teams that have about 40 to 50 moves, and then a majority of the league that have like 15 moves or less. I don't know how the hell you guys do that. You know, maybe just, you know, blind luck, you know. It's 12 noon. You know what time it is? Time for a sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. Yeah, rushing quarterbacks are definitely very important. Like the teams that have Lamar and Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts, it shows. You got quarterbacks like that, yeah, you're going to be in the mix. And are they going to have bad games and bad matchups from time to time? Yes, but overall, you know, those are the quarterbacks that you want, guys that can run and they can throw. You get a guy that's only a pocket quarterback, good luck. You're fucked. That's the reality. Yeah, but I've had plenty of success winning and finishing in the top 3, you know, pretty much every time I've ever played besides this year. So, you know, I don't really have anything left to prove. It's just, it will come down to if I want it enough, you know, and then, you know, we'll go from there. But I don't like it when fantasy makes me not enjoy the NFL. You know, like I want to make sure that I'm enjoying the NFL, and that's the reason that I'm not doing it next year, because if it takes away the joy of me watching games of all the teams, then that's the time to walk away. And that's what it's done. Like I'm still having a fun time, you know, like watching, but it definitely has affected, you know, certain things for me this year. Like I don't want to get to a point where it's just not fun watching the NFL. So true. Yes, little Penny Sewell. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate you very, very much. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little Cactus Jack, bang, bang. Hopefully we'll get another Reflect to join the party one day. Appreciate you. We're at 41, 59 to go. Shotgun set, handoff. And again, a lot of ground and pound you would assume for the rest of the game with Montgomery, Gibbs, and obviously a few of these running backs here for the Texans. I mean, unless we want to go for the record of most interceptions in a game, because if they keep throwing the ball, we might actually get there. Someone might want to look that up. What is the most interceptions in a game total? Like, do we have a game where we've had 10 interceptions in a game? Like, that would be something that someone can look up on the channel. What is the most interceptions total by both teams in a game ever, all time in the NFL? I would assume it's got to be like 10 to 12, somewhere in there. Khalif Raymond dodging a couple tackles down the sideline. Good return, but a flag on the play. Yeah. I mean, for me, instead of doing it, maybe, just like, doing a bet a year, like I told you, like, National Tight Ends Day, and I do a bet, on my own, and then we do like a group bet with the people in the room where we all pitch in like, $10 and we do like $100 bet, and we try to end up winning big money. And, and if we end up making $100 bet and we win like 5 to 10 grand, then we can just split it evenly, but yeah, like I said, I've been doing it for many, 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 many years. This is like the 8th year on the channel, and I've had a good time, doing it besides this year. And there was definitely a few moments where I was close to just losing my fucking shit and just dropping everyone on my fucking team altogether and just saying fuck it, but I don't want to, just, get rid of all my great players and have everyone scoop up all my gems. So, I gotta tough it out, and I gotta man up, and, I'm to blame. So. Jim Hardy, Chicago Cardinals, 8 against the Eagles in 1950. Nice. What about combined interceptions in a game? Yeah. I mean, and I'll be honest, I was, you already know, like when I lost to Matt earlier on, after having so many things go against me, like I hit a breaking point there, but then, tried to, keep it going, and just try to, do the best that I can with what I've been dealt with, you know what I mean? And I haven't heard of any Christian McCaffrey owners that have made the playoffs or going to make the playoffs. Pretty much anyone that drafted McCaffrey 1 or 2 pretty much was fucked this year, based off the layout. But I'm still going to give it my all till the very, very end, because it is based off points when it's all said and done, not just based off wins and losses. It's based off points and points against. And unfortunately, I've been getting everyone's A+ effort almost every week, but I can't control that. That was just how the order ended up laying out, by the fantasy and ESPN. Now if they would have mixed up the order a little bit, then maybe we would have different outcomes, for records and whatnot. But, based on how they ended up doing the order, and again, like it was supposed to be random, but apparently it wasn't. Because like I said, I don't want to be the number 1 pick. Like I feel being the number 1 pick is a huge disadvantage every year. Like you want to be picked 4th or 5th. That's where you want to be. But it is what it is. And again, I'm going to try to still, do the best that I can with what I have, to work with. And I'm still going to make the most moves. I'm still going to strategize. And again, sometimes I'm going to be right. And sometimes I'm going to put the wrong guy in there, like I did with Sam Darnold today. And it's not like I was going to beat Zini anyways with Burrow, Jamar Chase, Chase Brown, and Zay Flowers when I'm down 100 points before I even get to play, besides Mark Andrews. So I was already fucked to begin with, but, I'm not going to quit. So Devin White there with the tackle. I haven't looked at anything yet. I'm calling the game at the moment. 23-13 Texans. Shotgun set. Goff. Incomplete. Flag on the play. Five picks. Ten. Wow. Yeah, I figured it was like 5 to 10. It would have to be something pretty big. And I really feel if the Lions don't go back to giving Amon-Ra the ball, like, frequently like they did last year, that might be the difference between this team. You just can't ignore your best receiver. And I get it, going to J-Mo and going to Laporta, which is great, but you got to make sure you're not letting your top 5 receiver get discouraged. First down, Lions. $37, 18, and 15. Yeah, I'll take a look at it at one point. First down and 10, halfback toss. Gibbs with a hurdle. Man, this has been a defensive battle here today. Now Laporta questionable. Fuck! Are you kidding me? Shoulder injury for Laporta. God damn it. Gosh, it's like, can't I just enjoy watching some of these players play? And whether Laporta is on my fantasy team or I drop him and pick up Mark Andrews and then Reflect picks up Laporta, can we just have our players finish the fucking game? Like, this has been such an unenjoyable season in fantasy. I mean, even I think for people that are at the top, it's been a struggle. Like, even if you're in first, second, third, fourth place in the league, it hasn't been as fun as normal. Like, there's just been way too many injuries and a bunch of bullshit this year. And again, we always have injuries in fantasy, but I feel like the superstar injuries have been more this year, and we've had more players leave the game and not finish the game than ever. I had a string of like 5 games in a row where I didn't have a guy complete a game. If you don't have a guy complete a game in fantasy, you lose fucking 99% of the time. Annoying. Like, can we just have these guys like finish the fucking game? Terrible. 23-13 Texans. I'm sorry, man. That stinks. Hopefully he'll come back in the game, but with only a minute left in the third, and if it's a shoulder, Laporta is probably going to be out unless they give him a shot and, I don't know, whatever kind of magic goodies that they have in the back or in the tent. And then they, and then we see him come back out there, but annoying, man. Chief in the building. What's good? Yeah, but at least you got the points before the injury. And that's another thing. If you end up not getting the points, before the injury, then you're really fucked. But if they end up scoring 10 to 15 and then they're out, you're okay because at least you got the production before the injury happened. But like, that's the difference. Reflect will get a player injured in the third quarter, get 15 points, leave the game, he still wins. I get a guy injured in the first quarter on the first play, I get 1 point, and then I lose by $1 billion. So that's the difference. Chief in the building, what's good? But I think we kind of, got to see the 5 good teams and the 5 bad teams. I think it's kind of finally shaken up, where we got 5 good teams, we got 5 bad teams, and the 5 bad teams, including myself, can still beat one of the 5 good teams, but it really is going to come down to a little bit of luck and having bad matchups, maybe for the other team you're playing, and good matchups and having everyone hit, but not fun. And complete. Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, it just, just trying to find, these pieces, to fill. But, as of everyone knows, there is no replacement for top tier talent in fantasy. It's just period. When you get guys that have the ability to score 20 to 40 points, there is no one that you're going to be able to pick up to be able to sustain that. I mean, unless you're lucky enough to get like a Cedric Tillman like I did, and we'll see if he can continue his streak after the bye week of getting 18 to 30 points every week. But, I mean, we'll see. But it's very rare to lose a superstar player and then find some no-name guy like a Cedric Tillman that comes out of nowhere and then him consistently putting up big points to kind of save your team. End of the third quarter, 23-13, Texans. I hear you, Paisley. I'll let you out. I love you. Hold on, honey.
Y'all see this? Patrick Mahomes is saying goodbye. People was tricked. Where'd he go? He was actually saying goodbye to his old phone.
I'm switching to the amazing iPhone 16 to T-Mobile.
That's like peanut butter on jelly old dough. Get 4 iPhone 16s on us. Plus 4 lines for $25. The same on every plan versus the other big guys. What a deal. That's a lot. You ask me. Y'all giving it away too fast. You know, slow down. Oh, yeah.
Businesses work best when they put people first. Your dedicated Cintas service rep help make sure your team has the essential products they need, where and when they need them, to help keep them looking great, feeling confident, and ready to be their best. Get Cintas.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
You look like the type that hits a lot of curves. So I'm thinking these premium tires.
Don't put up with BS. At Midas, we don't upsell. Instead, we make sure you actually need new tires. Then provide a range of options based on your vehicle and your budget. We route Midas, where you can buy 3 tires and get 1 free for a limited time.
Give me that gooey, crispy, crunchy, mouth-watering. Give me that roly, peppy, rolling, but for large time. Give me that chicken, cheese, sauce, toss, macaroni. You better get you the Papa John's. Order now, earn reward.
Tonight's segment provided by Nationwide. How about Toro, mascot here for the Texans? With losing 3 of these battle ranking awards. Apparently you've done something like this, Collinsworth?
They're stealing. They had the almost 60-story building. I've been in New Zealand for like 15 minutes. Walked there, I was like,
All right, I had to get Paisley some food. She said, I love you, Dad.
Did you want to follow Corey? You would not. Stop that. Stop that.
Yeah, injuries, not fun whatsoever. It's like I almost wish I wasn't so passionate and cared so much, but I don't know how to be any other way. I always try to put 150% in everything that I do on this channel with myself, fantasy, whatever. It's like, I don't play just to play. I play to fucking win, and that's the difference. What's good, bro? Yeah, Branch is a baller. Decent punt there. All right, Lions, your turn. And for the people that have donated, let me know if there's anything that you want to do photo-wise between now and the end of the stream, and I got you. Yeah. Chiefs are not going to go undefeated. I think Chief fans already know. You know, they got pretty lucky today. You know, a blocked field goal at the end of the game. I mean, that type of shit happens like once a season. You know, and that's only for like maybe one team, and it just so happened it was them. So, you know, it wouldn't shock me if they end up losing next week to the Bills. Chargers are playing really good football right now with the run game and obviously with the defense as well. So if you're looking at those, you know, even the Steelers with Russ, you know, CJ, if he's on point. So we'll see. We obviously knew that was going to be a trap game today, you know, for the Chiefs against the Broncos, just like this was a trap game for the Lions. Anytime you end up being a good team, you know, sometimes if you get a little overconfident or a little cocky, you know, and you think you're just going to go in there and just take care of business like you have all year, sometimes you get a harsh reality and you get slapped in the mouth and realize that, hey, this team came in focused and, you know, they ended up getting the job done. So finally, Amon-Ra. I mean, they got a top 5 wide receiver in the league, and they act like he's, you know, just a scrub. Unbelievable. Yeah, I already knew that we were going to lose, but at least we fought. And that's one thing with Baker. You know, we're always going to fight. But then Tristan Wirfs went down with an MCL. So obviously, with that injury and Evans and Godwin, I mean, I'm done. You know, again, anyone can wear the gear when the team wins, but how many people can rock the gear with pride when a team loses and loses in tough ways? Not many. You know, a lot of people, you know, they you know, have a shirt or jersey on, they throw it into the closet, they stomp on it, their hat goes flying. You know, you start throwing you know, punches in the air. You know, you start screaming and yelling. You know, but it happens. You know, sometimes you just got to realize it is what it is. You know, not every year is going to be your year. You know, not every team and not every player is going to pan out the way that you originally thought. You know, and I mean, hell, out of my 5 teams, I only got one good team. You know, but the one team I do have is really good. So hopefully the Ducks will be able to, you know, make everything that was wrong right for me at the end. Short game. Yeah, I mean, it really depends on what happens. Do we get the good Josh Allen or do we get the bad Josh Allen? If we get the bad Josh Allen, hell, Chiefs are going to win. And it could end up, you know, maybe even getting a little out of hand. You know, but if the good Josh Allen is there and then the defense plays like they did today against the Colts, you know, that one could end up being much closer, you know, but I don't think anyone's going to be going undefeated anytime soon. You know, the best that we would probably see, I would assume, would be 15-2. But I don't think you're going to be seeing a whole lot of 16-1 and 17-0. I think like the best record that we're going to see, you know, maybe this year and here on out, what might end up being like, you know, 15-2, 14-3, somewhere in there. Goff to J-Mo trying to get all his players hurt, apparently. Getting smashed like an Oreo cookie from the front and in the back. And now J-Mo's hurt. Come on, Goff. Golly. Chief with a $5. Appreciate you. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little Cactus Jack, bang, bang. Appreciate that.
One of the reasons it came out like a duck, like you said, with that inability to step into it before the big hit from Derek Barnett. Jameson Williams gets up and jogs off the field. See that play training staff talking to him.
Thank you, Chief. We're at 46, 54 to go. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Play action. Little check down to Montgomery. Go, baby, go. Go, baby, go. Go, baby, go. First down, Lions. Move the chains. 24 from Montgomery, baby. Yeah, they did play less games. But it also shows you, too, you can go undefeated, like, you know, and end up losing like Brady and Randy Moss did, right? So it's like you go undefeated, but then if you lose in the Super Bowl, you know, it's all for nothing. Nobody cares. Screen pass. There's Amon-Ra. Oh, lo and behold, what do you know? Top 5 receiver actually gets the ball and scores a touchdown. Touchdown, Sun God. Get him the damn ball. Ben Johnson should be fired for not even getting the damn ball all year. Jesus. I mean, it's one thing if you have Garrett Wilson and you got Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback, but you got someone like Jared Goff that's more capable. Get him the ball. There we go, Amon-Ra. And now the Lions are in striking distance. Let's see if the Texans... Now, the way the Texans win this game is if they don't try to hang on. Now, if the Texans just try to hang on, they're going to lose this game. They have to go out and try to win it. Extra point is up and good. 23-20 Texans. Yeah, but there's clearly nobody really on the Chiefs level in the AFC. You know, it's like you got teams that, you know, are either good on offense or good on defense. Not really both. You know, it's like, you know, Buffalo, I can't really trust their defense. You know, maybe, you know, like a sleeper team that might actually be able to go on a deeper run than people think might be Russell Wilson in the Pittsburgh Steelers. Offense has been pretty good. Defense is elite. You know, and it seems like they kind of have like a decent, you know, package on offense and defense based on how Russ is playing. You know, compared to like Josh Allen, maybe that offense is good, but the defense is kind of hit or miss. And the Ravens, oh, they got the offense, their defense stinks, right? They can't stop a fucking nosebleed. So it's like you got really, really good offense or really, really good defense, like with the Chargers, but are you able to, you know, kind of have it be a little bit mirrored where you actually have a pretty solid offense and a really, really good defense? But I mean, right now, you know, I don't really see anybody beating the Chiefs, you know, as far as, you know, representing the AFC. And if it were to happen, you know, it might have to happen out of a sleeper team like the Steelers, where no one expects them to do well. Russ goes off for like 3 touchdowns and no picks. You know, they get 100 yards on the ground and they actually get a couple picks and sack lunches and then maybe win by 3, you know, like in a big upset, something like that. But in reality, you know, we probably could punch Kansas City's ticket to the Super Bowl as long as they don't have any major injuries from here on out. But again, we still got half of the season to go. So, and then on the NFC side, it's open. I don't think there is necessarily one team that's that much better. I mean, you could say the Lions, you know, are the best team in the NFC, and that's a fair statement, but that doesn't mean that they're going to get there. You know, they might end up having an injury. You know, you end up having an injury to like Montgomery or Gibbs or Amon-Ra, you know, and that could end up changing everything. And then you could end up having a team like the Packers, maybe with Jordan Love getting hot, or, you know, maybe the Eagles. You know, maybe the Commandos. I mean, you just don't really know how it's going to play out. But I'll tell you what, the NFC West and the NFC South are not good. So it's not going to be anybody from those two divisions. So it's going to have to be either the Lions, the Packers, the Eagles, or the Commandos, more than likely. Because I don't think it's going to be the Falcons, and the other 3 teams are not good. Bucks, Saints, and you know, Panthers. And then you got 4 teams in the NFC West, but we don't really know who the best team is in that division. And it doesn't seem like they're going to be good enough to maybe knock off one of the top tier teams. So Lions, Packers, Commandos, Eagles, Falcons. I mean, if that's what we have to work with, you know, it's probably going to be Lions, you know, Packers, Eagles, Commandos. I guess maybe you want to throw the Vikings in there if they can turn it around, but hell, Sam Darnold can't be throwing 3 fucking picks to the Jags, you know, and he hasn't really been the same quarterback since the beginning of the year. So that's a little alarming if you're a Viking fan. Yeah. But even if the Chiefs end up losing a couple games, it's expected. No one expects them to go undefeated. Even Chief fans don't think that's going to happen. I mean, especially they haven't been blowing teams out. They've been winning games by 10 points or less. But at the end of the day, they're winning, you know, and that's far better than our favorite teams can do. You know, they're finding a way to win even in the most lucky fashions, you know, blocking a field goal at the end of the game. I mean, that happens for like one team once a year, and it just so happens it was the Chiefs. Stroud? First down. Texans. Yeah, and another thing, I don't really understand why they don't go to Dalton Schultz more as well. Like the tight ends have been completely ignored this year, which doesn't make any sense because some of the tight ends in the NFL are better than the receivers. You know, it doesn't have to be a blocking tight end every single fucking game. You know, there's some guys that can actually catch and have good yak yards. You know, it doesn't always have to be George Kittle, Brock Bowers, and Trey McBride. I mean, there's other guys that are good. Get them the damn ball. Yeah, and of course I played Sam Darnold against that Jacksonville D because it was green 32, and then he ends up with like 4, 5, 6 points. Thanks a lot, Sam. You bum.
It's a really good sign. The strength of this Detroit Lions defense is definitely their interior players.
23-20 Texans. Right, I was about to say, in the first year of Andy Reid. There you go. But again, you guys are finding ways to win in like the most, crazy way. You know, first it was with Tyreek, then it wasn't with Tyreek and no Bieniemy. Oh, you guys can't win without Tyreek. Oh, you can't win without Bieniemy. Oh, you can't win with just a strong defense. And they've proven the doubters and the haters wrong every year. And it seems like every year they're winning a different way. And you can't say that about any other coaching staff. So you get my respect, you know, even though I know there's going to be some tough losses, you know, in the rivals for Bronco fans, Charger fans, Raider fans, other teams that are rivals with them like the Bills. It's not going to be easy, you know, but at the end of the day, you know, you got to give that coaching staff credit. Andy Reid and Spags are two of the best, and they are working very well together to motivate that roster, you know. And a big part of that defense not being as good is no L'Jarius Sneed. Hell, if they had L'Jarius Sneed on there, maybe they would be blowing out a few teams, you know, if they had a little bit more. CJ, down on the ground. Short gain. Chief with a 4. Appreciate you. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks. Little Cactus Jack, bang, bang. Appreciate you. Reflect with the 2-er. Thank you so much. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks. Little Cactus Jack, bang, bang. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much. 52-48 to go. And hopefully between now and next Saturday, we'll get some Cash App support too. I got a bill coming up in like 4 or 5 days, and fumble! And obviously, when you only get paid once a month, you know, when you got bills, it's hard to be able to manage that. But luckily, with my cell phone provider, I can do a payment plan online, so that way I can push out my payment into 2 payments, even though I do one, until I actually get paid on like the 21st. So, but hopefully we'll be able to, you know, round up $45 on the Cash App between now and Saturday, and that way at least I can pay that bill on time. It used to only be $25 to run this program, but again, you know, everyone wants fucking money, and now the bill goes from $25 to $45. So, not ideal for me, but you guys have been great in the support, so I appreciate you. Tommy Townsend with the punt. Yeah, we used to get a lot more on the Cash App side, and that definitely helped. It's been a little bit less this year, but I know that we have a few individuals that will be able to help with that, you know, between now and Saturday. So, big recovery. I mean, it would just be, I don't know. I wouldn't say necessarily fitting because Goff has played so bad, but what happens? Good teams find a way to win. Bad teams find a way to lose. And I'm not saying the Texans are a bad team, but 6-3 compared to 7-1. No one thinks the Texans are going to the Super Bowl this year. I think a lot of people think the Lions are going to go to the Super Bowl or the NFC Championship game, to say the least. So if the Lions were to come back, I would not be shocked. But again, they had to go to Amon-Ra at some point. They finally did, and then they cashed in. And if it's me and I'm Ben Johnson and Laporta's injured, guess who I go to win the game? Amon-Ra St. Brown. A little Montgomery, a little Gibbs, a little Gibbs, a little Montgomery, a little Montgomery, a little Gibbs, and then bang, 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 Amon-Ra, Sun God. And then maybe you end up winning this game 27-23 Lions. That's what I would do. Yeah, coaching staff is everything. I think that people don't realize that you can have personnel, you can have quarterbacks, you can have, offensive line, running backs, defense, D-line, linebackers. But at the end of the day, you got to have good mentors. You got to be able to have guys that you respect that have good schemes, and you got to be able to have a team atmosphere and have everyone come together. And not every NFL team, believes in their coaches. And it's very clear, what we see on the product on the field. But when you have guys like Andy Reid and Spags, huge advantage, not only over the AFC West, but the entire AFC. Because you could say, honestly, that Andy Reid is probably the best coach in football, and he has been for quite some time, not just on the Chiefs, but also with the Eagles. So, they don't have Andy Reids growing on trees, unfortunately. But I'm definitely excited to see what we end up getting in this outcome in this game, as well as, the matchups in the playoffs. It's going to be really fun. Burrow and Herbert. Yes, please. And I don't think we've got a chance to really see Justin Herbert and the Chargers play this year, and they're a good team. Harbaugh, in his first year, they got rid of Eckler. They got rid of Mike Williams. They got rid of Keenan Allen. They said, the Chargers are going to be terrible. They're going to win 4 or 5 games. And lo and behold, the Chargers are going to make the playoffs this year as a wild card. You watch, right? They're a really good running team. They're a really good defensive team. Herbert's been amazing. And again, sometimes you got to bring in that coach, not Anthony Lynn, garbage, right? Not Staley, garbage. And now Charger fans are starting to realize it's not about the skill position players like Eckler and Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. It's about coaching. And when you get the right guy in there, it makes all the difference. Who would have thought, right? You get rid of your top 3 offensive stars and you're that much better. Sometimes it's addition by subtraction. And that's exactly what we got with the Chargers moving forward. I'm happy for them. And also drafting as well. Yeah, I 100% agree with that. If you have smart people in the building, they don't miss in the draft. And again, if you go back and look at their run that they've had with Andy Reid, they haven't really missed. They've been pretty much spot on, and they can get the most out of their players. Again, they can even get players that they kicked off the team like Kareem Hunt, or let a guy go like Juju or McCole Hardman, have them come back. They may not be the same player as they were, but they're going to get the most out of that player, if they get the opportunity. Juju and McCole Hardman going to new teams, you knew they weren't going to do shit, and sometimes they end up being system players. They like to call system quarterbacks, but there's also system players that aren't really good anywhere else besides that one spot. And that's kind of like Juju and McCole Hardman. You're not going to be successful in the same way other than in Kansas City. And even now, they're not really as good as they were. Down the sideline by Gibbs. First down, Lions. Yeah, Lynn is garbage. I mean, the guy's clock management was terrible. The guy was a bad coach. Staley was bad too. No clock management, no fucking awareness. 2-minute drill. What's that? They were terrible. I mean, I won't even give him credit for the first year, even with Phillip Rivers. Terrible coach. And I kept telling my Charger friends, you guys got to get a better coach, and then things will turn around. Going from Lynn to Staley is like almost going backwards. They're both terrible. But now you got Harbaugh, one of the most proven coaches in college and the NFL, and you're getting results in fucking year 1. I mean, Charger fans would have been happy if results in year 3. They're getting results in year 1 with getting rid of all their offensive talent. That says a lot about Harbaugh, Herbert, and the Chargers. I mean, name any other team that could get rid of their top guys at running back and wide receiver and play better than the previous year. Like, almost nobody could do that. Harbaugh is the truth. 23-20, Texans. Yes. Gibbs running out of area and tackled for a loss. Jared Goff passing complete to Amon-Ra St. Brown. Come on, man. 4th down and 11. Yeah, I like Ladd McConkey a lot. Like I said, if you watched him run routes, at Georgia, you already knew he was something special. And again, Herbert has a good connection with him. You're starting to see more Caucasian little wide receivers start to really show that they can hang with the brothers at that position. Hell, we even got white corners, starting to play a little bit in the NFL, which is kind of like a position that's normally dominated by the brothers as well. You usually get Caucasian safeties here and there like Harrison Smith, but not usually white corners. And it's a nice thing to see, seeing guys, that normally can't play a position on that level. And then you find a guy that can, and he's actually having some pretty good success for the Eagles with Cooper. 23-20 Texans. Jake Bates, kick is up and good. Here we go. What a game. What a game, baby. Oh, look at that. He barely made it. Wow. Jake Bates. Wow. What a game we have here. Yep. Absolutely. What a game. If you started watching this game at the very beginning when it was 10-0, I don't think there's any scenario that you could have come up with that it would be 23-23 with 5 minutes left, and we have 7 picks combined. Unbelievable. 14 for 29, 229 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 5 picks. A career worst game for Jared Goff in the Goffense. And then you're 17 for 29, 214 yards, 1 TD, and 2 picks for C.J. Stroud. 4 sacks for 40 yards. And then what do we have? No sacks on Jared Goff, but that offensive line is something else. So unbelievable. And honestly, if you're a Chief fan, with Odin and Chief Will Chief and a lot of the others, it's actually going to be better if you guys get this loss out of the way. So if you guys lose to Buffalo, or you lose to the Chargers, or you lose to Danger Russ and the Steelers, good. Get it out of the way, understand, what mistakes were made, and then, try to go undefeated the rest of the way. You don't want to go, undefeated or have a loss, kind of late, and then you might end up having those same mistakes happen, and that might prevent you from, making that Super Bowl run. But, sometimes getting that loss early out of the way within the first 12 weeks is the way to go, instead of being like 14-0 and then having a loss, and then you might have another loss a few weeks later in the playoffs. It's always better to get the loss out of the way and then learn from it. And if you end up getting another, learn from it, and then go from, that rest of the way with like 3 games left, in the regular season, go undefeated the rest of the way. Like go undefeated in December, or go 3-1 and then just win the rest of the games and, get hot and healthy at the right time. And that's usually what happens with these NFL teams. Hot and healthy in December. We're at 52, 48 to go, baby. Thank you so much, Chief Will Chief. Like I said, that'll cover half of the bill for this streaming service that's going to be due in a couple days. Thank you. We got 6 from Odin's son, and then I got 20 there from Chief Will Chief. So we're halfway there with about 4 or 5 days to go on the Cash App, and hopefully we'll get a few more Cash Apps, either today, tomorrow, or whenever, so that way I can end up taking care of this StreamYard bill. Thank you so much, man. And normally I'm not going to bring up anything like that unless it's something that's kind of pressing, where, I don't get a whole lot of Cash App, and then I got a bill. I only get paid once a month. And, again, for anyone that's ever got paid once a month, it's hard, because again, you have bills that are all throughout the month, and it's not like I can tell all these companies, hey, slow your roll, I'll pay you when I pay you. It doesn't work like that. So thank you so much, man. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Halfway to my bill, dude. Thank you. $20. Bang, bang. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks. Little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. Thank you so much, man. Means a lot. 72, 28 to go. Handoff up the middle. Mixon running hard. Pump those legs. I love Mixon. And the thing is like when you look at Reflect's team with Mixon and Kyron, they're almost identical. You know, they're the same type of player, a little undersized, strong, great legs, great vision, and they have a knack for the end zone. So yeah, there's going to be guys like Derrick Henry. Yeah, there's going to be other running backs out there like Saquon and Bajan, but Reflect has the identical running backs around the same size, around the same type of skill set, both underrated and both end up, you know, giving you more than you expect. And I like guys like that. Stroud, floater, and complete. And it sucks that you weren't able to use Nico Collins, but again, it seems like even when you have injuries, you know, since we have 5 good teams and 5 bad teams, if you end up going against a team that's not good, like mine and a couple of the others, sometimes you can kind of get away with some of your guys being hurt because the other team can't get over 100, you know, or barely over 100 or 110. So even if you end up not having the most ideal week, if you end up playing one of the bottom 5 teams in the league, sometimes you don't even have to have a perfect fantasy week. You might just end up winning by default just because you have enough on your roster, even with the injuries to superstar players. So, but hopefully we can get your team full strength so that way if it ends up being you and Zini in the championship, that you can actually match up properly. Unless Zini ends up having an injury to her starting 9. She's like one of the only teams in the league that really hasn't had a major injury that has affected her, and she hasn't really upgraded the bench all year. And I that's a very rare thing to be able to not upgrade your bench all year and you're just riding your 9 pieces, and it's worked for her. But if she has one injury, she's going to slip in the standings. So, but at this point, she's been able to get away with it. But, you know, it's a very risky way to play fantasy, to trust only 9 spots and not give a crap about your bench. You know, that's a very risky thing to do. I would never do that, but it's working for her, and she's already won a championship a couple years ago. So I guess the sports gods love her. So yeah, matchups. You know, and it's very, and let's be honest, even for the elite teams, when you go off for 150 to 200, right? You don't do it the following week. It's very rare, even if you're like a pristine fantasy player, it's very rare to score 150 to 200 and then do it the next week after that. It's very, I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's pretty rare. You typically have a down week before you end up having that big week again. And there's usually like a week or 2 separation, or at least a minimum of 1 week, sometimes 2, 3, you know, sometimes a month before you have that big game again. You know, sometimes the stars and the constellations just have to line up just right. Orion's belt has to be in view, and then maybe you'll end up getting it. But, you know, it's not like people are putting up 200 points every week easily. Yeah, I'm proud of you, man. You know, out of all the teams that were at the bottom with you, me and Sarah are going to continue to be at the bottom. I'm still going to try like hell to try to at least get to 5th. My goal was to try to get to 4th, but, you know, that's not going to happen. And I got too many good opponents that I play. I play all the good teams at the end, pretty much. You know, but I'm going to try like hell to be able to fight there and, you know, do the best that I can. But we'll see how it all plays out. It'll be very interesting. And it may come down to matchups rather than who you have on your roster. You know, who's got the best matchups, you know, and who's going to be hot at that time. Because we obviously know Burrow and Chase Brown are not going to play like they did against me this week every week. But this year, they've went off a couple times, you know, in big fashion. You just got to pray that if you play Zini in the playoffs, you don't get hit with a fucking 118 out of like 4 guys. You know, because if that happens, you better have the same kind of players that she has. Otherwise, it might be night. 2-minute warning, 23-23. Yeah, I'm proud of you, man. You could have given up and you didn't. But also, too, sometimes, you know, the sports gods, they recognize teams that have good players, but it just was bad luck in the first part of the season. But if you've noticed, like, you know, like with you and with me and even with Megan and even with Sarah, you know, we started to have a little bit better weeks after just getting fucking thumped week in and week out. Like, it's going to be pretty hard to get thumped all year if you're trying. You know, at some point, by even dumb luck, you're going to have a good week, you know, and the other team might have just bad matchups and you win. So Yeah, and obviously Burrow wasn't very good last year, and that's why I had a choice. I could have went AR and a couple other guys in Burrow, and I made the mistake. I should have went Burrow, and then maybe I would have doubled it up with Jamar Chase like she did, but I wasn't really confident in his abilities this year because he wasn't very good last year, and lo and behold, I made the mistake. If I would have went Burrow, maybe I'm sitting similar to what Zini's record is right now, so I only have myself to blame, Actually thinking AR would actually be somewhat decent this year, not trash, but I only have myself to blame. So too many mistakes. AR, right? Run CMC, Cooper Kupp, Laporta not getting anything. It's like you can't be good in fantasy and not have a quarterback, tight end, or your number one running back and wide receiver and think you're still going to hang with people that are qualified in the league. You're going to get thumped, and that's exactly what fucking happened. Week 10, and I finally get McCaffrey, and like the playoffs start like week 14, 15. Like week 14 is the last regular season game. Then it goes week 15, round 1 playoff, week 16 championship. So if I don't get Christian McCaffrey until week 10, I only get to use him for 4 or 5 weeks. Terrible. So lesson to be learned, don't draft Christian McCaffrey. But watch, lo and behold, there's going to be people that draft him next year, and he's probably going to be like the best player in fantasy. That's how it works, right? I just got shit on this year. Other than the Oregon Ducks, probably run and gun, with Steve Spurrier in 95, 96 for the Florida Gator fans like Finley. I'm a really big Steve Spurrier guy, going in that particular era with Danny Warfel, Ike Hilliard, Jacquez Green, Rydell Anthony. I thought that was, kind of ahead of its time, with the Gators in the 90s. But that was probably like my favorite offense to watch other than, the Oregon Ducks. And that's a part of a reason that I'm a Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan too. Not just the Warren Sapp, Derek Brooks connection, but also the Gator connection when I was a kid. We got a player down. Let's look at this replay real quick. Anzalone kind of looks like he almost kind of tripped him. Yeah. Anzalone does trip him. And he gets a tip on the ball. Both Lions players get a tip on the ball. But gosh, they got some quality pieces too. Like Carlton Davis is much better on the Lions than he was on the Bucks. And Branch might have been the steal in the draft. Branch is so fucking good. Arnold, another solid player as well. Yeah, like I said, I have a lot of VHS stuff, with them on it. And again, I always watched Oregon football, but before I really fell in love, with Joey Harrington and that, I watched many, many quarterbacks and coaches prior to that, but Joey Harrington was the reason that to make me love the Oregon Ducks, like to take my fandom to that hardcore fanatic level. But prior to that, I was watching a lot of Florida Gator games, and I loved, what Steve Spurrier was able to cook up with those 3 receivers with Danny Werfel. Kick is up. No good. Wow. Wow. The Lions are going to win. Wow. Way to bail out Jared Goff and the Goffense. There's not going to be too many times where you go 2 touchdowns, 5 picks, and you win the game. Well, there's a lot of divisions that suck. NFC West sucks. AFC South sucks. NFC South sucks. There's a lot of divisions that kind of suck this year, or that are like average, or lower than what we expected, 72-28 to go. Well, it's almost inevitable that the Lions win this game more than likely unless Goff throws another pick, right? But you would assume you have enough time to run the football. Let's see what the strategy is here with Ben Johnson. Should be lots of running, I would assume. And then also, if you know that you have a problem with intercepting the football, right, why not be creative and run like a jet sweep or a reverse? You know, at least that keeps the ball out of the air and you can get big yardage. You know, it's like sometimes I feel with these coaches, it's like analysis by paralysis. Like, you know, they're thinking too much. Like sometimes you just got to simplify the game plan and understand that if something's not working, you got to change it, you know, and you don't need to get cute about it. I don't need to see a fucking flea flicker or anything like that, but you know, I don't see enough NFL teams, you know, doing jet sweeps and reverses at the proper time. You know, running it up the gut with halfback dives and counters is not going to solve the problem every time. Yeah, best O-line in the game. Penei Sewell, baby. Go Ducks. But the Texans' run defense up to this point was pretty good in the first half. I mean, Montgomery and Gibbs were pretty much shut down, but they're starting to get tired. You can tell. Look at the body language of the defense. Good tackle there. Good speed. Third down. Got to throw the ball. You're not going to be able to just run, win the game. You're going to have to throw it at least once or twice. Yeah, it's like I don't think I've seen Gibbs chase down all year. Like this Texan defense doesn't have their best player on D, Will Anderson, and they're making plays like there's like 3 Will Andersons out there. It's been pretty crazy to watch. You know, we know that the Texans offensive line got fucking beat the fuck up last week and got exposed, but I don't know what DeMeco Ryans fucking said, but he got this game and this team in line. But missed field goal by Kaimi Fairbairn, that might be the end. And guess what? You go to Amon-Ra St. Brown, baby. That's where you go. Trips right. Great formation right here. And look how they break it up. Look at the formation. Shotgun set. Jared Goff in the Goff fence. There he is. If you're going to play a soft zone right there, first down, Lions. Oh my. Good teams find a way to win. Bad teams find a way to lose. Not saying the Texans are bad. They're 6-3, but compared to the Lions, that would be the case. Yeah, Devin White is on the Texans now. But it sounds like he doesn't really care about football anymore. You know, he was a great instrumental piece. You know, hell, I bought 2 jerseys of him. You know, spent like 160, 175 a piece, like $350 off 2 jerseys, thinking he would be on the Bucs for life or at least for his second contract. And unfortunately, he started getting lazy, started quitting on the team, started liking Eagle Post. Then they sent him off to the Eagles, cut him. Eagles cut him, and now he's on the Texans. So I don't know if Devin White will ever be the player that he was on the Buccaneers. I highly doubt it, but I wouldn't count him out altogether. But you know, maybe going to the Texans will re-energize and motivate him to actually fucking try and not feel like everything needs to be handed to him. You know, great fucking player, you know, but I don't feel like I wasted money on the jerseys. Hell, I got a Devin White jersey on right now, you know, but just kind of unfortunate, you know. First down and 10. But if I didn't have Devin White, we wouldn't have won the Super Bowl or got to the Super Bowl. So that's another reason why I still rock the jersey. He was a big instrumental part, just like, you know, Antoine Winfield Jr. and Tristan Wirfs were as rookies in that year. Third down and 7. Yeah, the Shaq Leonard situation was kind of similar, but with him, it was just into the back. He never quit on the team or gave up. He just had a major injury that he could never recover from. That's different. I would rather have that happen to Devin White than him just quitting on the team. You know, liking Eagles posts on social media and being an idiot, you know, and giving up on his team and not trying hard. You know, and I get it. He loves horses like the Joker. But again, you know, if you're an NFL player, you can't take that for granted. But he apparently did. If I would have known that that was going to be in his future, I never would have bought Devin White jerseys. I would have bought Levante David jerseys instead. That would have been the way to go. But coulda, woulda, shoulda. Another mistake by me. What's new? All right, 4 seconds left. And we got a Jake Bates game winner here in about 5 to 10 seconds. Yeah, I thought so too, bro. I mean, for me to buy one jersey of a guy and then, to buy the red one and then the next year, to buy the white one, that's investing. Like, there's not many guys that I have 2 jerseys of, let alone Buccaneers. It's like I got Sapp, I got Brooks, I got Simeon Rice, I got Doug Martin, I got Keyshawn, I got Doug Williams. I mean, I got a lot of fucking jerseys, but I don't have too many that I have 2 of, and I wanted red and I wanted white, home and away, but I guess that's just what happens. Sometimes, guys stay with you for their whole career, like a Derek Brooks or a Rondé Barber, and other times they leave, like John Lynch and Warren Sapp. NFL is a business. Kick is up, and it's good, and that is the game. 26-23, Lions. Wow. I mean, the Lions got to be the only fucking team on planet Earth to throw 5 picks and still win the game. Unbelievable. Good teams find a way to win. Bad teams find a way to lose. Kansas City Chiefs versus the Detroit Lions in the Super Bowl. That's what it's looking like. Because if you can win with 5 picks, you can win in any way, just like the Chiefs. Look at this. Wow. Wow, these field goal kicks are ridiculous. Just inside for both field goal kicks. Wow, 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 wow. Unbelievable. Heartbreaking loss if you're the Texans. And this will probably be a springboard game for the Lions, to show, look, we can play bad, but you guys never gave up. Hell, Goff threw 5 picks, and we still won. And there, like I said, there's only a couple teams that could do something like that. Kansas City Chiefs is another that Mahomes could probably throw 5 picks, and they could find a way to win with that defense as well. Wow. Unbelievable. Wow, wow, wow. Chief will chief, after that last dono, and for the people that donated, let me know what you want to do for photos. I do need to eat dinner and take Paisley for a walk, but let's throw a few photos up before I go for the people that donated. Anything specific, Chief, that you want to see before I go? And I really appreciate it too, because again, this StreamYard bill to run the program here online, it used to only cost me $25 a month, and they raised it to $45, which is a lot. Like doubling up the monthly cost. I was not really prepared for that. So, anything that I can get, on the Cash App side between now and fucking Saturday is going to help. And obviously with Chief will chief and Odin's son generosity from the Chiefs Kingdom, we're already halfway to that bill. So thank you so much. No problem, man. I appreciate you. Oh, I'm going to. It'll be my 3rd walk of the day, but let me throw up at least a couple Chief photos for Chief, unless we want to do like food. What do you think? Food, Chief will chief? Okay. All right, let's do some food real quick. It's a good way to end a stream. Stay on here for another like 5. Man, the NFL never disappoints, does it? Like, just when you think you got it all figured out, you don't know shit, Just when we think that we all know what's going on and we have no idea. Yeah, I can do breakfast food too. We'll just grab a couple nacho photos here for Sarah, and then we'll go into some breakfast food. Man, damn, I miss nachos. I haven't had nachos in like a fucking year since I've been on this new diet. Looks good.
Here are simple actions you can take to keep energy reliable and lower your bill.
I could really use a good street taco too.
New home energy analysis tool and energy shifting program. Learn more and save today. The all-electric F-150 Lightning is an amazing truck.
But thank you to all the people that like, sub, donated, commented, shared. It really means a lot. Thank you so much. And with Odin and Chief's generosity, we're only halfway. We're about halfway there for the bill. And obviously with Reflect and everyone else that has done on the super chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it very, very much. I mean, I love Mexican food. Yeah, you might have problems and you might have to go to the bathroom down the road, you know, and not just Taco Bell, you know, but damn, it tastes good. I love going to Flavor Town. You just got to have the stomach for it.
Camping under the stars to 4-star hotels. Here where you need it most with the best roadside assistance, like you have been for more than 120 years. Wherever your journey takes you, we're here to power you.
Man, I'm gonna sprinkle that little lime, get that lime juice all on there. Mmm.
Oh, just one more thing.
What a crazy outcome. What a wild weekend in sports.
For Lions facing the best record in the NFC. And very similar.
It's like, did the Lions and the Chiefs deserve to win today? You know, maybe not, you know, but again, you know, good teams find a way to win. And, you know, it's sometimes the most miraculous ways. Because, I mean, if you're watching this game overall, the Texans and the Broncos probably deserve to win those games, you know, but that's just how it goes. You know, the sports gods, you know, they decide on what's going to happen. And, you know, it's not going to always just be a ref outcome. You know, sometimes you got to earn it. And sometimes the most unexpected things happen in games. Woo! Little chicken and waffles. Look at the glizzy on that. Look at the glaze. Oh, my. Someone get me a plate. Uh-oh. That looks good. Nice job, Jake Bates.
Just recently, you were a brick salesman. You thought you were out of football. So what does this mean to you to come back and do this in your hometown area?
I mean, I think it just shows, you know, how good the Lord is. He's so faithful, and man, my story is, if anything, I just hope people can see Jesus through my story, and I mean, that's what I'm here to do is not make or miss or be a good kicker or a bad kicker, but spread the love of Jesus. So, you know, hopefully I'm able to do that on the stage I'm given.
Awesome. And Carlton, you sparked this comeback. We were talking to your head coach, Dan Campbell, who said, we need turnovers, and you got that first one. You got another one. How'd you do it?
I mean, going into halftime, we kind of knew we had to make plays. So honestly, when we're losing, there is nothing else to do but fight back. So that's all I wanted to do. I wanted them to really beat us. I wanted them to earn that win. So when I went out there to half, I knew I had to make a play, and the ball came my way.
And then finally, the Texans scored 0.
Got to hit you with some crepes before we go.
So what was that?
What you know about them crepes, baby? If you never had one, you better get one. You're missing out. Pancakes are great. Waffles are great. Chicken and waffles is amazing. But, man, there's not too many places that make a crepe. And if you can find a restaurant that does, We got a place on the coast here in Oregon, obviously near the ocean. They call it Pig and Pancake, and there's usually a big line at this Pig and Pancake, but they are known for the crepes, and man, they're good. And then you can actually get it with a sausage inside. So you get the sweet and the savory. So it's got the strawberry drizzle, right? And it's all wrapped up. And then in the inside is like a little piece of sausage in there. Oh, my. Look at that, baby.
23-7 at the half. Goff threw 5 picks. Stroud threw 2 of his own. Those were big to spark this comeback. Outscored 19-0 in half number 2. How did Detroit do it again?
I'm still trying to figure out how they did. Nothing was working.
Everyone's going to be eating good tonight. Or you're going to have an idea of what to get tomorrow or in a couple days for breakfast or for some food, whether it be DoorDash or you go to a restaurant. We're planting seeds here. Look at this. This is a crepe cake dessert. Woo! Almost like a cheesecake, but a different type of texture.
We saw Kansas City earlier in the day. We're saying the same thing. But it gets tight in the last 2 minutes. Some way they figure out a way to win.
I mean, since I've been on this diet, I haven't really been able to eat a lot of these things that I love, go to Flavor Town. But again, I can usually have like one cheat meal a month and whatnot. But I'm getting some ideas based on some of these photos. That's for damn sure.
It always felt like the resiliency of that team, and how many times have we seen it where they just attack and have cover two? You see what's coming up on the show. Ryan Brandt's going to join us. Dave Cable.
That Lion chant there in Houston, pretty loud.
49ers walk up. We'll get to all that. Forget about all that.
Oh my! Give me that stack.
Detroit is starting to put itself in that same category. That some way, somehow, we're going to figure out ways to win. We believe.
Yeah, I'm streaming tomorrow. Are you available to hang out tomorrow? I can hit you with some seafood tomorrow for the Rams and Dolphins if you're able to come through. If not, Tuesday or Wednesday, we'll figure out what we're doing. But I'll leave you with breakfast food, but then we will definitely get into seafood, on the next stream. We can go through. And then for seafood, we'll figure it out. Maybe lobster or crab or whatever, some kind of sea boil and whatnot. We'll see what we got. A little crab boil and whatnot. But I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys very, very much. Thank you to every single person that liked, donated, commented, and shared. For the 2 individuals that helped on the Cash App, Odin's Son and Chief Will Chief, thank you so much. I think I only need another 20 in the next 4 or 5 days to be able to pay the bill. So that really, really helps. And again, for all the people that normally donate on the Super Chat with Reflect and Company, thank you so much. It means a lot. Look at that. I'm drooling. And again, I got to go take a long walk here with Paisley and eat some dinner. And now you got a few ideas of maybe some breakfast, lunch, or dinner options for your viewing pleasure. I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys very, very much. And I got one question for you. Who talk sports like us? Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, and I'm out. Gang.